It seems like not so long ago he was just an ordinary man. However, as a result of the cataclysms that have occurred, the world has changed. Zombies and other monsters have overrun cities and strategic locations. Now this man has become a monster lord. About 10 years ago, some people started showing monster genes. Once the gene was awakened, the person became genetically modified, turning into a monster. From that moment on, only hunger and deep fear ruled his mind. The survivors tried to protect themselves from the monsters with concrete walls. This man also became one of those monsters. He became an accomplice in the destruction of a once peaceful and happy world. Civilization was on the verge of extinction. However, no one expected that a man who turned into a monster could retain his humanity. This monster was great and powerful, and no one could defeat it. The girl showed up one day, saying she would handle it herself. She fearlessly approached the monster and looked into its eyes. The brave protector said that Shin-kun must not let the monster take over his mind. He must wake up. The girl noticed the monster's hesitation and called out its name again. Shin-kun. The normal behavior of monsters is notable for its irrationality. Sang-chun thought, no matter who he was now, this girl would always be there for him. However, the monster was gaining the upper hand, and he decided to strike the girl with his fist. The girl didn't even blink an eye and wasn't frightened. Despite his transformation, she didn't stop trying to wake him up. The fist stopped in front of the girl, and she said that he had returned. However, it was already too late. Hordes of bloodthirsty monsters surrounded the girl, trying to grab her and tear her apart. The monster lord didn't know what to do and grabbed his head. A violent confrontation was going on inside his mind. The girl shouted for Shin-kun to fight and not give up. Meanwhile, the monsters were getting closer. However, Shin-kun had finally turned into a monster and could no longer control himself. The brave girl looked at the monster again and called out its name, Shin-kun. The monster gave her a crushing blow and roared loudly. There was nothing Shin-kun could do about it anymore. He had ruined her life with his own hands. In parting, the girl told him not to let the monster control him. In his heart, Shin-kun shouted that this couldn't be. However, the girl fell down after being hit. The bloodthirsty monsters pounced on her. The leader of the monsters shouted her name loudly, Ji-yu! At this very moment, Shin-kun finally woke up. With a loud roar, he started throwing the monsters away from the girl, furiously swinging his fists and destroying them one by one. However, Shin-kun was too late. Ji-yu was already beyond saving. He shouted that these monsters had destroyed the world and now must disappear. The young man jumped up from the bed fearfully and shouted, Ji-yu! A bottle of cologne appeared in his hands for some reason. He wondered, hadn't he been torn apart by those monsters? After coming to his senses, Shin-kun wondered, why did he have cologne in his hand? He looked at the receipt and saw the date, June 15th, 2025. It was 6 days after the entrance exam and the day before genetic testing. Tomorrow he'll find out what secret is in his DNA. Maybe it's a monster gene. In that case, he'll be bugged, humiliated, and feared. He'll become a mutant outcast. A voice came from the shower room. The girl said she heard him call her by another woman's name. Sing-chun thought that now he had a chance to make things right, although he couldn't be called a good person. Suddenly, a message came to my phone. The messages were many, and they were all from girls who had threatened him. They knew he was celebrating his 18th birthday with some stranger in a hotel. The young man saw a familiar avatar and a set of emoticons. He thought that was great. Sang-jun decided that in this world he would protect Ji-yu. He has the genes of a monster in his body, that fact is immutable. But in this life, he will be in control. He decided he would prepare for the awakening of his monstrous self. He still has a whole year to go. He will not allow himself to be controlled by them. The monsters who want to destroy this world will pay for everything, and the revenge will be brutal, for he has a special plan. The guy clutched his chest. He felt his heart racing. What's going on? His left hand turned into a monster's paw. Had the mutation already begun? But it was only supposed to mutate after a year, probably caused by a surge of emotion. He seems to have crossed the line where conversion begins. The girl got out of the shower and asked what was going on. Our hero thought that now all his plans were ruined. It's impossible to quench the monster's genes. What will he do now? Sing-chun realized that he could no longer hold them back. Without anyone noticing anything, he must urgently satisfy his hunger before things got out of hand. The young man thought that he didn't have much time, so he should get to work as soon as possible. Sang-chun confessed to the girl that he had used her and realized that he was a real scoundrel. Sing-chun came out of the hotel room and saw the girls texting him on his phone. He said that this all needed to stop. One of the girls was indignant. What is he saying? They're not going to stop. He can look at his own abs. He should look at her, and then he will definitely change his mind. The girls started reaching out to him and urging him to stay with them for the night. Didn't he realize how charming he was? Shin-kun couldn't understand how he had managed to pick up so many cute girls who were older than him. However, he was a carrier of the monster gene and could destroy them at any time. He had already made up his mind. They must get away from him. The girls wondered what he was talking about, since he hadn't even been tested yet. Some said that his mutation didn't scare them. The boy ran out into the street. In his past life, when they found out he was a carrier, they ran away quickly and without looking back. Not far from him stood a young lady. Shin-sung thought it was Ji-yu. In this life, she is still waiting for him just the same. Ji-yu asked, "Did he break up with them so quickly?" She bought something to heal his mental wounds. Sing-kyun stroked the girl's cheek, and a blush appeared on her face. He said he wouldn't let her wait in vain. She wouldn't regret her decision. Ji-yu wondered what had happened to him. Could he move his arm? Ji-yu asked what he was doing. Is he really trying to hit on her? Sing-kyun's heart began to beat rapidly again. The young man realized that his inner monster was very hungry. Sing-kyun turned away. Ji-yu asked what was going on with him. The guy replied that he was hungry. He needed to appease the monster. Sing-kyun turned around and headed in the other direction. He told Ji-yu to go back home. He would come back when he had eaten. Ji-yu was indignant. Is he really kidding? According to statistics, about 5% of people are carriers of the monster gene. However, society hardly cares about this. After all, only the carriers are affected by it. People say it's enough to keep the genetically special under surveillance and destroy them if they start mutating. You just have to set morality aside. In fact, deep down, they all wish the bearer's doom. The young man smelled food. Passers-by saw the blazing fire and said there was definitely something going on. People tried to run away from the epicenter of the fire. They were screaming to avoid being eaten. Shin-kun headed towards the epicenter. One of the fleeing men thought, "Why is this guy walking towards him?" The frightened young man pushed Shin-kun into the monster's clutches and told him to die for him. However, the monster ignored Shin-kun and continued to chase after the frightened guy. Shin-kun wondered, why did the monster miss him? Do they really take him as one of their own? The fleeing guy was amazed. Why didn't the monsters eat this man? Mankind has created a special department to fight monsters, the Bureau of Mopping Up. Shin-kun easily overcame the crowd of monsters, deciding that the humans would deal with them themselves. He proceeded in the right direction unhindered. The cleanup specialists were supervising the evacuation of people from the mall. They determined that they were facing a second-ranked monster. Specialist Lin, while fighting monsters, lost his arm in exchange for 3 children's lives. It was an unfortunate loss. The monsters continued to attack and were ready to destroy and tear the man apart. However, Lin didn't give up and used his unique abilities to eliminate the advancing monsters. He saw the monster approaching and realized he couldn't get away this time. However, Shin-kun, who had arrived at the scene of the confrontation, intervened. He deactivated the nearest monster with a punch to the jaw. Lin wondered, who was this guy? How could he defeat a rank 2 monster with his bare hands? What is this man's ability? How does he have so much power? Lin said that one shouldn't be careless. A rank 2 monster isn't easy to destroy. Sing-kyun ordered Lin to take the children out immediately. He looked the specialist in the eye, smiled, and apologized. People must not see him eating. Lin couldn't believe his eyes when he saw what this stranger in a red cloak was doing. The huge monster was outraged. How dare someone take his prey? Sing-kyun prepared to strike the bloodthirsty monster and said that he had mixed it all up. Sing-kyun's hand transformed, and he declared that in this case, the prey was the monster itself. The monster was destroyed and torn apart. Before it died, it realized that the Flame Lord was in front of it. But how did it do it? Sing-kyun said that he used to be a monster lord, and a good one at that. The monster marveled. Was this person really going to eat him? But they had the power of a king in them. The other monsters watched this bloodthirsty scene. They considered him a traitor, but they didn't want to mess with him. Sing-kyun, biting off the monster's flesh, asked who his boss was and how terrifying he was. The monster screamed, calling for help and saying that the king would not forgive this. Outside the mall, the mopping up experts found that the monsters had suddenly become weaker. Monsters were no longer attacking like they used to. It was now much easier to destroy them. The young man asked the boss, "What is the current situation now?" The colleague replied that the high-level monsters had weakened, and the low-level monsters had almost stopped moving. Overpowering monsters was now easy, meaning that Lin was able to defeat rank 2 monsters. The experts saw the injured Lin Chi and asked what happened to his arm. Were there really 3 other children with him? His colleague said that it was perhaps a sad oversight, but how could he, with his abilities, set his hand up like that? Lin replied that he was on the verge of annihilation. The colleagues couldn't believe it, after all. He had saved 3 children and destroyed a rank 2 monster with only one hand. That was amazing. Lin Chi said that he wasn't the one who did it. Lin Chi added that after the unknown person destroyed the monster, he lost consciousness. Lin Chi added that when he woke up, he saw that this stranger with teeth was gnawing on a monster. The blue flame in this person's left hand was also visible. Furthermore, Lin Chi had memorized his face, so he would definitely recognize him the next time he saw him. The staff of the mop-up department wondered, could anyone really eat a monster? Could it be that he himself is a monster? It seems like a fairy tale because if he was a monster, he would have eaten Lin Chi as well. The senior expert thought that only true destroyers participating in rescue missions had the ability to defeat a rank 2 monster. The specialist added that an arrest warrant should be issued. Our hero threw aside his red coat so that he would not be identified. An unregistered person with abnormal power may be of the special fire type. He has a perverted appetite, so he is most likely a social. He is arrogant if he thinks he is better than the official representatives of the law. If such people are not caught in time, sooner or later, they will get out of control. Xing Kun felt satiated. The principle of evolution is quite simple, but our hero didn't think he could rise to the 2nd rank so quickly. Xing Chun thought that after a delicious meal, he could head home as well. His house was in place, and the structure was in perfect order. In her previous life, Ji Yu came back here around 3 o'clock in the morning. The neighborhood suddenly had a power outage. The blackout occurred over a very large area. The sudden disruption caused a huge amount of energy to build up, and it caused people's abilities to get out of control. Then the building was destroyed by a lightning strike, and 136 people, including Ji Yu's parents, were killed. The girl herself was seriously injured, and her face was scarred for life. There were still 4 hours to go until the appointed time. The boy wondered, shouldn't the lights go out after only 4 hours? How could it be? Ji Yu jumped up from the bed. Something was going wrong with the phone. The girl couldn't move. Should she try, as electrical impulses rushed through her body? Ji Yu wanted to call out to her parents, however she felt as if she was trapped. It was hard to move and scream. The panes in the window were broken. Had something really happened? Ji Yu felt electricity running through her veins. Ji Yu felt really bad. She couldn't help herself. If she lost control, her parents might get hurt. The girl couldn't hold back any longer. Someone should help her. She called out to Xing Kun for help. It didn't take long for our hero to arrive. He entered the girl's room through the window and said that he was coming, and Ji Yu should not be afraid. The girl was frightened. Why is he climbing through the window? Xing Kun said in a serious voice that there was no time to explain, and she should trust him. Xing Kun said no matter how much Ji Yu panicked, she shouldn't scream, because she might wake up her parents. The girl struggled to pronounce the electricity flowing in her. Xing Chun grabbed the girl's hands. She saw that Xing Kun's hand turned dark. All the electricity rushed to him. Ji Yu thought, is he going to be okay? Xing Kun said that they couldn't linger any longer and asked her to apologize. The guy said they needed to go to the roof and threw the girl from the window upwards with all his might. Ji Yu screamed in fear. She was afraid she was about to fall. However, our hero flew over and picked the girl up in his arms. He told her to hold on to him tightly. Xing Chun thought, if he became a rank 2 monster, then he could use his tentacles. Using this unconventional method, Xing Chun managed to land on the roof of a building. Already on the roof, Ji Yu said that she had been electrocuted. Xing Kun replied that she should release her power immediately. Xing Kun pointed to the sky and said that she should immediately look there. The release of power came from that direction. Ji Yu opened her mouth and sent a powerful stream of energy into space. The young man thought that he had made it after all. Xing Kun thought that he would not let bad things happen again. Ji Yu said after releasing the energy that she was fine, but what happened to his arm? Our hero confessed that he mutated into a monster, but luckily gained the ability to control the rest of the monsters. Ji Yu covered his mouth with her hands. You shouldn't talk about it so easily, and you shouldn't tell anyone else about it. The girl said that many people hate monsters. If someone finds out, Xing Kun will be in danger. It's already enough that she knows about it. Xing Kun said that if she was interested, he could tell her everything. After all, she was the only person in this world that he could trust unconditionally. Ji Yu stated that she was sure he had said similar things to other girls. The guy categorically started to deny it. The young men looked up at the beautiful starry sky. It seemed to them that a drone from the Institute of Genetic Research was flying overhead. The specialists definitely have to come in. They can't turn a blind eye to what just happened. A specialist from the institute said he found 2 people on the roof. Among them is one whose abilities are out of control. The man got on the roof and said not to be afraid of him, because he was from the Institute of Genetic Research. He asked which of the 2 had just summoned lightning. Ji-yu confessed truthfully. The man said that there was no need to be afraid as she did a great job, and no one was hurt. The senior of the group said to have Xiaolu check them with a reagent. If the guy wasn't hurt during the energy release, he must have some kind of superpower. The man said all they needed was a drop of blood. After conducting the test, the specialist shouted that this girl's set of super genes was breaking all records. Singkyun said that Xiaolu might be wasting his reagent. Xiaolu said that there was a reaction to the reagent, but a weak one. She had never seen such a weak response. The supervisor said to send the samples to the institute for further research. Singkyun was surprised. Could it be that they hadn't made a mistake? After all, he had a monster gene in his body. So where did those superhero genes come from? Although it was possible, because that guy's arm was eaten by a monster, and he ate that monster. At the Genes Research Institute, in the genetic research room, the young man said he was special. This is the lowest rate of heroic genes in history, just 1%. Xiaolu said that there are very few special genes, but he has very cool abs. She wants to touch it. Jing-kun thought that after the mutation, his body started to change. Our hero had heroic genes in him. Maybe because he is half human and half monster, some of the genes were absorbed. Anyone with extraordinary genes can enter Nanyu Academy. It's much better than being under constant surveillance after being recognized as a potential monster. Singkyun asked the nurse if a person with 1% genes could enter the academy. Xiaolu replied that according to the dean's decision, a person with any number of genes could enter. Xiaolu said to let the boy rest. She would help him with his application for admission. The young man thanked his little sister. The medical staff ran off to check on breaking the world record. Someone was found to have special genes in large numbers. In a past life, our hero despaired over the 99% monster genes in his body, and didn't even give much thought to genetic experiments on minors. During the experiment, everyone was looking at a true genius who had 95% modified genes. She did not react in any way to the increased voltage of the grid. Ji-yu was not susceptible to industrial electricity at all. It turns out that if she let out 500 volts, for example, 90% wouldn't even be able to get close to her. A man in a protective spacesuit asked if the girl felt anything after he applied 2000 volts. Ji-yu replied that as far as her body was concerned, she did not feel any discomfort. Those watching were surprised. Isn't that a bit much? She had just awakened. Ji-yu asked the lead observer if they could stop. The man inquired, could she not take it anymore? Ji-yu said they just used up a lot of power, need a breather. She's afraid of losing control. Ji-yu added that if things go uncontrolled from here on, the electricity will destroy everything here. The man agreed and pressed the button to interrupt the study. He decided it was best not to take any chances. Sing-chun tried to go inside and said that he was a friend of this girl. However, the young man was not allowed in. There is still too much electric current in her body. She needs to cool down so that she doesn't accidentally hurt anyone. 2 people come up to the testing lab and tell them to open up. They're on their way in. The researcher said hello to Director Fan and said that the isolation suit was in the room next door. Director Fan said he didn't need the suit. A small charge wouldn't hurt him. The researcher said it would be great if the principal and his nephew could help them. Principal Fang's nephew went inside and said hello to Ji-yu. The girl told the young man to stay away. He might get hurt. She needs to release some electricity first. The young man ignited his hand and said his fire would help her with that. The young man extended his hand to the girl and said that this was their first meeting. His name was Fan Shizai. He was her future classmate in the academy. Sing-kyun, peering through the window, thought that this guy was a rascal, making a white sheep of himself while looking at her like a dog at a piece of meat. The girl said hello, but didn't extend her hand because there were still remnants of the electric current in her hand, so a handshake was contraindicated. The guy said he doesn't see anything wrong with it. They still have a long way to go. The young man said they would be divided into groups at the academy. The group determines the size of resources for improvement. He is the son of the Fan family. He has 90% hero genes, and he hopes to gather the strongest people in his team. This way, they will get the best resources for rapid growth. Fan Shizai expressed his hope that Ji-yu would join his team. The girl said that sounds good and she thanks for the invitation. Ji-yu added that she already has a partner. It's the guy behind the glass. Fan Shizai said that his results are too weak. The number of genes is extremely small. We should be careful not to let him drag everyone down with him. Ji-yu approached her friend and said that they would become more than just classmates. Xing-kun replied that he didn't doubt it. Principal Fan told his nephew, something happened at the academy. They should leave immediately. Fan Shizai said goodbye to the girl and hoped that she would think things over carefully. The guy told his uncle that this girl is a super genius like no other. They must get her. The uncle said that the girl has her own desires and they are subject to his whims. Uncle added that one should get rid of obstacles in one's path. The director has been informed that the data they received on Shin Tsung. He has only 1% of special genes, a record low. The headmaster said that it would be a waste of resources to admit such a person into the academy. However, the dean insists that people with any number of genes can enter. The uncle told his nephew to stay away from this guy. Ji-yu said that she had to satisfy her hunger, or else she would go crazy. Is it really because of his hand? Xing-kun confirmed that it is because of his hand. He feels the urge to eat a person. Ji-yu said that there is nothing wrong with it. There are many bad people in the world who are not pitied. Sang-kun was indignant. You can't say that, her stance scares him. Xiaolu said that Ji-yu's parents have arrived and are waiting for her outside. Ji-yu told Xing-kun not to worry. No one will reveal her as long as she catches people. Xing-chun was surprised. Is that really the problem? Ji-yu said that she would go to share the happy news with her parents. Ji-yu told her friend that she was very excited for them to study together. Walking out of the ward, Ji-yu thanked Sis Xiaolu. Xing-kun said, judging from the expression on Sis Xiaolu's face, something had happened. Xiaolu said that the young man's application for admission was rejected, saying that with 1% of genes, he was no different from an ordinary person. Sang-gun wondered, wouldn't any number of genes be enough for enrollment? Xiaolu said that's the way it's supposed to be. What the hell are they thinking? How can these people look down on Xing-kun? The girl said that she would try again. If it doesn't work, she can even send out 1,000 applications. Xing-kun said that there was no need to do that. They had already made up their minds anyway. No need to waste their time. Our hero thought that he could actually try with monster power. The academy has all the resources and he should get there if he wants to get stronger. Xiaolu was surprised. Did he really have special genes in him? In that case, he has a chance of getting into the academy. The uncle asked what the nephew was doing. The young man activated the flame on his hand, and moths flew to him, wondering if he'd really given him a chance to take part in the final challenge. If after a year of schooling there is no awakening, there is an exception. The final test is reserved for junior high school students. What's the point of a person like him participating? Only a moth can emerge from these caterpillars. Uncle said for Shirzai to come in. The moths are very annoying this year. Recent trials is the mistake of Xing Qinchin, director of the Genetics Institute. Director Fan said that this is his way of warning not to cross the line. He has long been unhappy that rule violations are happening. The uncle added that if the boy did well, it would be tantamount to a slap in the face. However, if he fails, the dean retains his authority. Shizai said that they couldn't let him pass the test. Otherwise, his uncle's reputation and their family's reputation would be ruined. Mr. Fan stated that he would not pass the test. Such weak people don't fit into their society. Mr. Fan added that's why he won't even give the guy a chance to try. Letting the dean try will only prove that he's wasting resources, showing his incompetence. The task for the next 5 days is to secure the equipment. A young man dropped his smartphone. A colleague asked, "What's wrong with Li Gong? He seems lost." Li Gong, picking up the smartphone, said that he just glared. It was time to move on. After all, they had a lot of work to do. Li Gong looked at the information and said that even if he loses his job, it's worth it, because it's a whole million. Li Gong told the boss it's done. He's looked into it. There's nothing special about that guy. The guy who was pushed through at the last minute has only 1% of the special genes. That's contestant number 18. Could he really be a threat to the Fang family? Li Gong thought that if he succeeded, he would rise to the very top. It was his duty to accomplish the mission properly. 5 days later, he continued to observe this young man. It was unclear why this guy had even come. How many days had it been since he'd eaten? That's the end for any scum. The boss thought that his intervention wouldn't even be needed. This guy would fail on his own. Xing-chun felt that his energy was almost depleted. He wants to pass the test and eat everyone present. After all, their bodies contain hero genes. 3 hours of challenge and 3 victory cards were announced. This would be a chance to enter the academy. Li Gong said that 18 people would fight for their lives. There is a newcomer among those present. They are all familiar with him, though his backstory is irrelevant. Li Gong added that none of this matters, as they are in favor of fair competition. Are the contestants ready to pull out their card? The participants expressed their displeasure. There are so many of them, yet only 3 will pass. Is this guy really a rich heir if he was crammed in at the last minute? What kind of privileges does he have? Sing-kun thought, did fair play really mean no more food? Couldn't he just be allowed to eat people? Li Gong said that Sing-kun can go to his test room. This is room number 18. Sing-kun thought about not being told right now, but he can still feel the blood left on the bars of the grate. And this blood is of high level, and will definitely interest the monsters. This is all done intentionally. Li Gong, closing the bars, said that the young man should know who he had offended. Sing-kun thought, is it really the Fan family again? Li Gong said that when the trial started, all the monsters would run straight to him. Li Gong noticed that this room had been added recently, and the only super alloy lock that could help was broken. These monsters are 5 times stronger than humans. 3 monsters with copper skin and iron bones will rush here. These monsters will try to tear the young man to shreds. He will become a real delicacy for them. Li Gong said that there was only one way out of here. The guy could be behind that door and be safe. However, that would mean he would lose. Li Gong said that the young man can leave. He will still fail the tests. He doesn't need to fight. He will be safe if he gives up. And everyone will be happy. It's a triple benefit. Li Gong stated that the young man had 10 seconds to admit defeat. Sang-gun told the departing guard that he would show who the real delicacy was here. Li Gong wondered, how long would this guy last? The control and observation room was a working environment. Li Gong went into his boss's office and told him that he had checked everything. There would be no problem. His only way out was to give up. This guy was even speechless with fear. The boss said that the monsters would immediately rush towards him to get to his cell. It would take them about 10 seconds. The boss offered a deal. He bets 100 greenbacks that the guy will give up in 5 seconds. Li Gong grinned and said that the bet was accepted. The trapdoor was in the roof directly above the arena. When the hatch opened, the monsters looked inside and roared loudly. The final challenge began. The monsters jumped down. The people were behind the bars located around the perimeter. The boss smiled and said the time was up. Sing-chun was the first to swing the grate open with his foot. Li Gong and his boss wondered, what is this guy doing? Did he really decide to go all the way? Li Gong said that this guy will be torn apart anyway. If he chose to die, that's his choice. The monsters ran past our hero without paying attention to him. The guy completely forgot that they were ignoring him, taking him for their own. However, the hunger went nowhere, and Sing-kun was really tormented by the lack of food. Li Gong and his boss were puzzled. How could monsters get past this guy? He didn't just coat the bars with blood for no reason. Who was this guy anyway? The people watching stated that Sing-kun had taken possession of the first card. The man said it's not easy to get the card. The final challenges aren't just monsters. A few days ago, Yin was attacked by a monster during an incident at the mall, and it awakened a superpower in him, a special spiritual ability. Yin is now the strongest competitor in the competition. He shouted for Sing-kun to give him this card. Yin activated a psychological attack. He was sure that Sing-kun was very scared. However, our hero awakened the monster in him, and appeared before his opponent in a completely different form. Yin screamed and asked for help. Yin tearfully did not understand what was going on with this Sing-kun's power. Yin wiped the blood off his face and said that the competitor was stronger than him. Who is this Sing-kun anyway? Why does he seem more like a monster than a human? The monsters turned around and saw a man in the middle of the arena. Yin was frightened. The monsters were approaching, and Sing-kun had absolutely no reaction to them. Sang-kun tells the monsters that he knows they want to put that guy away. However, he asks for forgiveness. Our hero said he needed the monsters to help fill his stomach. He was very hungry. The boy added that he would be gentle and leaned his hand on the monster's body. He stated that he would proceed carefully. From the palm of our hero's left hand, a monster-like outgrowth with a mouth appeared. The young man shouted that he would gut these monsters, and the monster from his palm slammed into the body of the nearest monster. Sing-kun absorbed the monster's flesh through his hand. The boy thought that after days of starvation, he was finally full. Thanks to the monster brothers. The monsters surrounded our hero and began to voice their displeasure. Sing-kun wondered if they were trying to resist. Sing-chun said, after all, he just had a snack. But what about helping his neighbor? The guards watching said this guy came to his senses. Now the monsters are about to tear him to pieces. Yin shouted to the man that he could not defeat these monsters. However, our hero was of a different opinion, and he neutralized the nearby monsters with strong blows. Yin realized that he hadn't imagined it. This guy was too strong for a human. He could handle 2 monsters at once with such ease. They were just toys to him. Sang-kun seemed to have memorized their movements by heart, as if he could sense everything on an instinctual level. Yin thought that one blow from the monster should be enough to shatter every bone in him. Nevertheless, he continued to strike at their weak points. Was he really capable of destroying them? Our hero got so hyped that he actually destroyed 2 monsters. Yin didn't understand why Xing-kun was so incredible. Surely he must have already destroyed many such monsters. Li Gong was terrified. How did Xing-kun deal with these monsters? What should they do now? The boss stated that it was too early to draw conclusions. Each of the participants risked their lives in this challenge. One of the contestants said that this Xing-kun barged in here without asking and took away all their chances. He should give up this card because he didn't deserve it. Yin shouted for Zhao Xin not to provoke this guy. He is a very dangerous person. Zhao Xin said that Yin was just a coward. He fell down even though no one laid a finger on him. Zhao Xin told his colleagues to surround Xing-kun and take the map from him by force. Zhao Xin commanded one of the people present to deal with Xing-kun. However, the surviving monster came dangerously close to the humans. The two contestants decided that they needed to lure this monster to the middle of the arena. Baldy stated that this monster might not be here alone. They usually attack in pairs. Baldy decided to attack the monster on his own. He said that the monster was weak because of hunger. Baldy tried to make a fist strike at the monster and said he wanted to destroy one of them. However, the monster was not timid. He broke Baldy's arm and grabbed his head. The monster tossed the bald man aside and prepared to attack the other man. Zhao Xin said that the bald man's brains have fallen out along with his hair. He doesn't even understand how to behave with monsters. Zhao Xin turned his attention to Xing-kun approaching him. Xing-kun approached his opponent and swung his left arm, preparing to strike. The guy thought to use his other hand because Zhao Xin's left hand would definitely destroy him. Our hero's left arm had completely mutated. The last time he ate a monster, its power was greatly increased. Xing-kun remembered how he and Ji Yu had gotten on the roof of the house and thought that he could now release tentacles up to 8 meters away. This guy's strength was now 10 times that of an ordinary person. Xing-kun thought that even if Zhao Shen was on his way to reincarnation, he was barely above the first level. This blow would definitely blow his brains out. However, destroying people during the trial was not good. Need to contain the force, devote more control to this strike. The strike was still left-handed, but it was controlled. Zhao Shen was deactivated. Zhao Shen was hit hard, however, he was still alive. Our hero wondered, did he still need the map? Zhao Shen said that he couldn't handle this guy. The colleague held the bald man in his arms and tried to run away from the monster. Zhao Shen asked our hero to help his colleagues. They are willing to pay 50,000. Zhao Shen, who was lying on the floor, took Xing-kun by the leg and said that he was wrong and therefore apologized. Xing-kun got here by right and deserved this card. Li Gong said it was all useless, he was just scaring them. The shift supervisor contacted the control department and said that it was urgent to add test samples. Numbers 21 through 23 must be produced. Li Gong was scared because these were their experimental specimens. They were much stronger than ordinary level 1 monsters. This guy would definitely not be able to handle them. Boss said that Xing-kun's ability had surely awakened, even if not completely. It would still be enough. Stronger monsters would only stimulate his awakening. The shift supervisor said to make the power supply shut down after the isolation doors open. Li Gong was frightened. That's where all the monsters are. They would leave no stone unturned here. Due to a power failure, the doors will not close. Experimental monsters and first-level monsters will all end up on the range. Without power, the emergency button won't work. The contestants won't be able to escape, in which case, they will all be eaten. The boss said they came here willing to risk their lives. What's the big deal if they die? Li Gong fearfully said that if he is caught, he will definitely be executed. He can go for it. It is necessary to give up this venture. The shift supervisor said that it was the Fang family's errand, after all. They had already received an advance payment. The boss smiled and told Li Gong not to worry. He would live. The shift supervisor said he'd give another 10 million extra and get him out of this town. Xing-kun fearlessly massacred the bloodthirsty monster. The people present were surprised. They were scared to imagine what Xing-kun had gone through to master such skills. Zhao Xin told Xing-kun not to worry. He keeps his word, and this guy will get the money he promised. The girl said that her brother should hurry up. They should get out of here. The bald man had already left. Zhao Shen replied that he couldn't move fast. His ribs were broken. The girl apologized to Xing-kun for the trouble they had caused him and thanked him for his help. Zhao Shen told his savior that he would treat him to dinner when it was over. Xing-kun thanked and said that he was already full. Suddenly, an even more horrible and bloodthirsty monster jumped down from above, through an open hatch. Everyone present was frightened. Zhao Shen wondered, are there really monsters again? Zhao Shen shouted for his sister to run away and pushed her aside. At this moment, the monster stepped on him with its huge paw. The young man wondered, what was going on? Not even half an hour had passed when the second wave of invasion had already begun. There were already 2 monsters. They kept growling and approaching the humans. The girl wondered, shouldn't they have been notified that the rules had changed? Xing Chun thought that these monsters are close to the second level. Someone doesn't want to let him pass the test. Those watching through the monitor screen saw Xing Kun look at the camera and cursed. The monster with bulging eyes grabbed one of the contestants by the leg and lifted him up. The young man shouted that these monsters had them surrounded. If they didn't escape now, it would be too late later. The girl said that she would not leave her brother behind. The monster lifted Zhao Shen's leg even higher. The young man was covered in blood. The girl kept shouting that she wasn't going anywhere without her brother. The bloodthirsty monsters encircled the girl and began to approach her. The girl tearfully apologized to her brother and said that they had always been together and now they would die. However, our hero did not want to put up with this state of affairs and practically snatched the girl from the clutches of bloodthirsty monsters. At the same time, he said that she did not know what she was doing. Xing Tsung told her that if she decided to die, then with some handsome guy. But what's the point of dying with her brother? Xing Chun, holding the girl in his arms, said that he wouldn't let the monsters eat her. Xing Chun pushed the girl towards his retreating colleague and told him to pick her up. The young man was surprised. Did it really apply to him? When he looked around, he realized that he was the one who should take care of the girl. Xing Chun thought, if the monster ate him, he would advance to the second level. To destroy them, even his left hand wouldn't be enough. Our hero looked at the monsters, estimated the scale of resistance, and said that it would be very troublesome. Xing declared that it was worth a try anyway, and rushed out to attack the aggressive monsters. The girl was surprised. To save her brother, this guy went out alone against 3 monsters. Xing said to let the monsters ignore him. He fully understands that hunger is very ruthless, but don't treat it as an enemy. Xing told the monsters that he wanted them to give him their food, and grabbed onto Zhao Shen. Holding Zhao Shen's free leg, Xing told the monsters not to get angry. He had thought of something. Xing threw Zhao Shen away to a safe distance and said that he now intended to eat all the monsters. In that case, he would no longer be hungry. Zhao Shen came to his senses and thought that Xing had risked his life to save him from the hordes of monsters. Xiao Tao ran up to her brother and said that this guy first saved her and then saved him. This is very noble of Xing. Zhao Shen told his sister that they needed to leave the training ground immediately. Xiao Tao said that the card was lying quite nearby. She could still try to pick it up. Zhao Shen said to his sister not to even think. This trial is some kind of strange. Xing, dodging the bloodthirsty monsters, said that there should be enough of them to keep him satiated for the whole day. Xing grabbed the monster's hand and said that they would hold out if he didn't use a special technique. If he uses a special technique, it will take him no more than 10 seconds to absorb each of them. Xing noticed that if he wanted to break through to the next level, he would need to absorb at least 100 of these monsters. Continuing to tear the monster apart, our hero said that it was very difficult to evolve, so they should behave obediently. Seeing that the hatch above was still open, our hero thought it wouldn't end there. Zhao Shen walked to the door labeled Exit, and thought that their lives were more important than anything else. This trial was harder than the previous ones. Zhao Shen pushed on the door, but it did not yield. At this moment, the power was cut off. The young man wondered. Had the power gone out? Xiao Tao said to her brother to look back and watch. From above, a great many different monsters were descending into the arena through a trapdoor. The contestants who ran into the arena began fighting each other and snatching the coveted card. Many people shouted that they wanted to become stronger and return to the academy. Some wanted fame and fortune. Some wanted to take revenge on those scoundrels who bullied him. However, the monsters continued to arrive and destroy the people on the range. From the top floor, Li Gong watched this bloody mess and thought that he had to cut off the backup power. There was no stopping it now. The victims should blame that person for everything. However, Xing stood aside. It was as if it didn't concern him. The monsters didn't notice our hero. Li Gong said that if it wasn't for that guy, he wouldn't have had to release the monsters and be in danger of being destroyed. Li Gong saw that Xing noticed him and smiled. Li Gong asked, "What is this guy laughing at? After all, he is in a safe zone." Li Gong, smiling, showed our hero a middle finger and said that he should actually be grateful to him, because thanks to Xing he was able to earn 10 million. Li Gong added that he will cross the border as early as tomorrow and will be happy and secure for the rest of his life. Li Gong kept saying that this guy was about to be eaten by monsters. Our hero threw the monster's chewed off hands upwards. Li Gong dodged and laughed, saying that Xing wouldn't even be able to take out his anger on him. However, the monster's arms, hitting the ceiling, began to fall and hit Li Gong. The guard couldn't hold on, and he lost his balance and fell down onto the range. Li Gong slumped down and was flanked by monsters. The guy screamed to be rescued. He won't do it again. He even promised to give our hero 10 million for the rescue. Xing Tsung said that there are too many monsters. He has to save the experiment participants, so it won't come to saving this guard. Xing-kun said that everything would be fine as long as Li Gong didn't run head-on into one of the monsters. Otherwise, it will become a real delicacy for them. The monsters surrounded our hero and asked in amazement, "Is he a traitor?" The monsters began to approach Xing-kun, calling him a traitor. Xing-kun thought that now he could smell the odor of someone who had eaten another monster. The shift supervisor, watching from above, thought that it was not so easy to fulfill the Fang family's assignment. However, the training ground now had over 30 monsters that had been evolving all this time. A person with Xing-kun's level would not be able to get out of there alive. The director overcame the isolation door and closed it. This door was the last door to the second floor. The man eliminated the defense mechanism with a punch of his fist and said that this time it would definitely work out. In front of the tracking console on the second floor, employees were dozing at this time of day, sitting at their desks. The chief woke everyone up and menacingly asked, "What's going on here? Why is there a power outage at the firing range? All the cameras are out of order and the doors won't open." The staff said it wasn't their fault, but Li Gong's fault for temporarily deactivating them. He must have been the one who turned off the backup power. The supervisor said the power supply must be fixed immediately, or the rescue team would not be able to get there. The startled employee said it would take at least half an hour, to which the supervisor remarked that in that case it should start immediately. It is urgent to notify the sweep headquarters of what has happened, and ask for their help. The boss said that no one should be told because all the damages would have to be compensated. No one would believe that one of the employees had lost his mind and broke everything here, and in addition released monsters. "We need to fix the power unit without talking." The boss stated that they will wait for half an hour while repairs are being made. After that, something will happen inside the landfill. Inside the range, monsters ruled, and the surviving humans were crying out for help, shouting that they needed to get out of there immediately. Xing-sun took off his left sleeve from his jacket and said that the electricity was off for some reason. The cameras were not working, and all the doors were closed. Our hero was preparing his left genetically modified arm for battle. Xing-kun said that he was grateful for this. Now he could transform without restriction. Xing-kun informed the people that he was leaving them and wished them all the best. The guy activated the Flame of the Lord. Our hero attacked the monster and began to absorb its energy. The absorption was much faster than he expected. Did these monsters become like this because they ate a lot of participants? Now he would have to absorb a lot of monsters' genes. Xing-tsung thought that it didn't matter. Monster genes or any other genes, they were all human genes. No matter how hard it is, they must be digested. Only by becoming stronger could our hero survive and win. If not him, then someone else? "Destroy the monsters," said our hero, declaring that he would not forgive them for eating his comrades in arms. Xing-chun said that he would not spare these vermin and would become their king. He would destroy them all. Xing-kun noticed that his left arm had begun to develop intensely. The monster's genes combined with his own were a dangerous mixture. From past life experience, the first thing that usually changes is the brain. Each monster gene carrier is connected to a special network. They can be tracked and even controlled. Controlling some of them is easy. At some point, the guy decided that some genes needed to be unplugged, because he could control the genes as well as they could control him. Xing-kun decided that he needed to stop before it was too late. Xiao Tiao explained to the companions that this guy had saved her and her brother, and now, because of them, he was seriously injured. It was necessary to behave honorably and not touch him. The most active one continued to insist, stating that they weren't going to touch her or her brother. However, this is their chance, as there are only 3 passes, and they still have to fight. Xiao Tiao walked over to her injured brother and took his hand. One of the survivors said that they didn't ask this man to fight monsters. He was only injured because he wanted to show off, and only his heroism should be blamed. The survivors wanted to take the map from our hero and promised not to touch him. Zhao Shen, overcome with pain, said that Xing-kun shouldn't be treated like this. The associate told Zhao Shen not to approach them, or else he would definitely die. Zhao Shen turned around and asked, did he really feel something? The activist kept insisting and demanded all the cards from our hero, or they would have to be taken away by force. Suddenly, a huge monster burst out of the ground. The young man wondered what had happened. Had he gone blind or had everyone been wiped out? Does he really see a real dragon in front of him? The dragon opened its teeth-studded mouth and roared loudly. Under the impact of the sound wave, everyone grabbed their ears and fell to the ground, bleeding. The young man looked up and said in a frightened voice that he had read about such a thing in the newspaper. He had read about a dragon appearing in their town and destroying the local branch of the cleanup bureau. The troops that had gotten there had only chased it away, but not destroyed it. What's the point of this pass now? because they're all gonna die. Xingqiun thought to himself as he connected to the network with great difficulty. He now had to destroy their leader, and it wouldn't be easy. After assessing the scale of the disaster, our hero came to the conclusion that the difference in their strength is huge, and he alone will not be able to stop this monster. You need to find a way to gain an advantage. Xingqiun was tense. He didn't see a dragon in front of him, but only a part of it. The tail. 2 minutes before, there was anxiety and excitement in the waiting area for parents. The parents were worried about their children and asked GD to help them pass the test successfully. The parents were worried because it was a firing range where you could be killed. If it were up to them, they wouldn't let their child participate. It was better for him to be an ordinary citizen. Jiyu was silently in this waiting room. Jiyu thought that there was a training ground ahead where the power went out. More than 10 minutes had already passed and the power supply still hadn't been restored. This couldn't be part of the test, could it? The girl approached the guards and said that she was a student of the academy. She sensed that there was a problem with the power supply at the firing range. The guards were surprised. How did this girl know? The parents, hearing this information, became alarmed. One of the guards said it can't be like that. Everything is fine. The student needs to calm down, or they will kick her out of here. Jiyu said that her ability is related to thunder and lightning, so she can feel it. The guard asked what family the girl was from. Only relatives are allowed to wait here. All the parents present grabbed their hearts and screamed in pain. The guards also fell to their knees, everyone's heartbeat increasing. What's going on? This is very strange. Something is definitely wrong here. Jiyu thought that the power outage and the heart disorder were somehow related. Something had definitely happened at the landfill. While the guards came to their senses, the fearless Jiyu opened the door and stepped inside. No one could stop Jiyu now. She needed to find the entrance to the training ground. Jiyu saw the staff trying to open the doors. After all, the children are waiting. They need to hurry up. The supervisor said that the door on the second floor is locked, and they are doing their best to restore at least the first floor. The shift supervisor thought that the flow of energy had broken through a door that could withstand rocket attacks. A terrible monster must have gotten in there, and it would be safer if the gate remained locked. The cleanup headquarters probably knows about it. It makes sense to delay repairs a bit to wait for reinforcements. Jiyu shouted to be let through immediately. The head of the repair squad wondered how she got here. She must get out of here immediately. Jiyu confessed that she is a freshman at the academy. She has 95% hero genes. Her power is thunder and lightning. She will help restore the electrical power. The squad leader was surprised because she had just entered the academy. Until she reached at least the first level, such manipulation would be beyond her power, and she simply wouldn't have the strength. Jiyu said that there was no electricity in her body, but they were in the city, which meant there was no limited supply. The girl activated her unique abilities, and electric charges literally pierced the entire space. Where did this girl come from? Does she feel absolutely nothing? Is she the genius with 95% of the special genes? The head of the rescue squad thought, maybe she could actually manage to restore the power supply and open the doors of the range. However, there was no telling what kind of monsters were in there now. It might be too dangerous. The specialist told the girl to stop immediately. Her abilities are still unstable. The freshman girl might damage the working equipment, and this is government property, and that can't be allowed to happen. Jiyu asked, does he really want to stop her? The squad leader said that this girl was trying to interfere with their work and wanted to damage the equipment. He ordered his subordinates to eliminate this pest. The deputies pointed their guns at the girl and told her not to think about doing whatever she wanted, just because she was a genius. The squad leader said that if the girl took even one more step forward, she would be destroyed. Xingqiun on the training ground continued to fight the giant monster. Its huge teeth weren't even afraid of the Lord Flames that our hero used. Each time the monster wounded the protagonist, it absorbed some of his energy. A few more wounds, and his progression in development would be forgotten. Xingqiun thought that he needed to find a way to avoid the monster's fang attacks. Xingqiun released a long tentacle from his hand and wrapped it around the Earth Dragon's tail. However, it was unable to pierce through its skin. Xingqiun approached the dragon and decided to burn through its skin with the Flame of Lord. As he got closer, the guy saw that the dragon had teeth located all over its body. Trying to deal with the teeth, the young man pressed his left hand onto the dragon's body and activated the maximum power. The squad leader thought that this girl had the rarest amount of hero genes in history. However, she's just a girl, so it would be easy enough to scare her. But if he harmed her, the leadership wouldn't turn a blind eye. She can't just be destroyed with a weapon. The officers were so frightened of the girl that they opened fire to kill her. The squad leader thought that these guys were very cowardly. Now they would have to take responsibility for everything. Ji-yu wasn't scared and didn't dodge the bullets flying at her. She further electrified the atmosphere. The bullets hit the electromagnetic flux initiated by the girl and, changing trajectory, flew past. The squad leader didn't understand anything and thought it was just an accident, and his subordinates didn't know how to aim. Ji-yu said that electricity creates a magnetic field that greatly distorts the trajectory of bullets. This is the talent of a person with 95% special genes. This girl is definitely not human. The squad leader was surprised. Could it be that the girl could control it so calmly? Thunder and lightning are not puppets after all. The man wondered how she could go on. How could she resist the eerie aura emanating from the firing range? The girl pulled the smartphone that was in the hands of the head of the rescue squad to her. Ji-yu was also attracted to the weapons that were in the hands of the staff members. Ji-yu said that the device was already working. Now you can open the door. On the second floor, the head of security said there was something wrong. The man added that there was an urgent need to get this fixed. The assistant reported that the electricity was restored and everything was working. The head of security did not understand what could have happened. After all, the technical work had not even started. The officer stated that he would open the doors first because people need to be rescued. Ji-yu waited for her moment. The doors to the training ground were opened. The rescue squad was frightened. Ji-yu rushed to the range, and the security chief rushed to the hatch to see what was happening at the range. Ji-yu stopped like a dumbfounded person. What is it? Some of the experts said that it was an underground dragon that had been written about in the newspapers. Xingqian continued to aggressively resist the earth dragon, using the full power of his modified arm. Ji-yu shouted and said the name Xingqian. The head of security, watching through the hatch, could not understand what was happening. Why is there an electromagnetic field in here? After all, why is the entire floor electrified? It was turbulent at the sweep headquarters. A large current of electricity had rushed through the wires at the range. All the lines were overloaded. There is speculation that the new apprentice has lost control of her powers again. However, it shouldn't cause any major problems. But there have been tremors and anomalous activity. Xingqian felt the excess electricity in the atmosphere and thought, where did Ji-yu come from here? However, our hero recognized that it was just in the nick of time. Before the dragon escapes, he takes a small bite out of its body. Xingqian saw Ji-yu lying on the floor and rushed over to her. The head of security thought his mission was not so simple. After all, this guy has some kind of secret. However, the appearance of the dragon is like heaven's help. There's no need for caution now. This dragon will destroy all the evidence and there's nothing to go on. This place is chaos, and it's going to take a cleanup team a while to get here. If this guy's destroyed, no one will even notice. The head of security shouted for all employees to listen to his orders. Everyone with superpowers to prepare to leave. The dragon must be contained until the cleanup teams arrive. Do not let it harm anyone. We need to save the students. The director thought that no one could stop him now. Xingqian thought that the dragon had been stopped by the staff. Now we need to wait a bit. The third level of evolution is too intense. He won't be able to retain his human form. Our hero continued to hold the unconscious Ji-yu in his arms. The security chief threw a unique item. However, our hero was able to intercept it. The man wondered, who was this guy really? How could it have turned out this way? After all, these are the 5 attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Special evolution, ice, wind, and thunder. He had never seen abilities like these. The grates separating the training ground from the cells were cut like butter. What kind of creature was this Xingqian? The bars from the bars rose into the air, and red hot were directed at our hero. The guy realized that a stealth attack was being used against him. However, all the bars were neutralized by the left hand. The head of the guard shouted that a man could not possess such a hand. The man said there was a real monster in front of him. The director was surprised. Where did that blue flame come from? All of his metal had melted. After all, monsters don't have elemental abilities. This is a true anomaly. The principal remembered that monsters could possess the powers of the elements. Monsters above level 4 can do that, but how is that possible? The head of security asked what this guy was. He doesn't look like a monster or a human being. There's no way to quickly destroy him either. However, to others, he is definitely a monster. Xingqian entered the rampage mode. It was getting harder and harder to control himself. The head of security decided that he should wait for a few more seconds. Next came the recovery mode. The security chief thought that after the bureau arrived, this monster would definitely die. Our hero was ready to explode from excessive energy. The third level of evolution was much tougher than Xingqian had anticipated. It seemed to be because of that dragon's bite. Now our hero understood the power of his fangs. If it was not curbed, he would never be human again. The security chief activated the golden shield. This guy is strong. His defense should be able to handle these attacks. The next instant the shield was destroyed. It shattered into small pieces. The man didn't realize what had just happened. As he stepped aside, bleeding, the security chief realized that he too had been hit by the black fangs. The man didn't understand. What kind of monster was this? It cannot be stopped. It is incapable of doing so. Sainkyun advised the man to stay where he was and not to approach. The head of security told the guy not to go outside like that. Otherwise, anyone who sees him will try to destroy him because he is a true monster. The head of security said that the sweep bureau is close. They won't let this guy go. Even if he escapes, it would be a waste of time. The monster is an enemy of society. No one will help him. Every person will long for his demise. The man approached the waking girl and said she was his accomplice. She must look closely, for this guy is a monster. Jiyu placed an electrified hand on the man and told him not to call this guy those words. The girl directed an electric charge at the security chief and said that this young man's name was Shin-kun. Sing-kyun swung his modified hand at the man and said that perhaps this world was not ready to accept him like this. Sang-kyun added that in that case, he was going his own way out of it. Guy heard a noise outside and realized that the sweep bureau had arrived. He told Jiyu to move far away. No one should know that they are together. The protagonist didn't know if he could regain his left arm. Jiyu grabbed the young man's hand and tried to calm him down. The girl said resolutely, "If Shin-kun goes to hell, she will go there with him." Shin-kun said that Jiyu hadn't changed at all. Representatives of the cleanup bureau entered the landfill at a rapid pace and tried to locate survivors. The chief has issued orders to protect the men and not to retreat. Maybe a 3-star shield will buy them some time. The special squad leader thought to wait for the shield to break, then take advantage of the chaos and escape. However, the monster attacked him and destroyed him. The employees screamed that their boss was dead. The defenses here were vulnerable and could not be stopped. "Where's the warden gone? We must all run away." The huge earth dragon, mouth open, continued its acoustic attack and picked its prey. Again, those present clutched at their hearts. They were in pain and could not get up. The people decided that they could not escape from here. A stranger appeared at the gate. Had she really been sent by the clearing bureau? The girl looked determinedly at the dragon and called it an earthworm. The girl swung her unique weapon and said that this dragon was the reason for her interrupted date. Such things are not forgiven. The people present thought that everyone could be affected by this girl's attack. Is she really so bad at controlling the situation? What is that fire sword in her hands? A co-worker said that the power of this sword only affects the dragon. That way the girl won't hurt them. But she can deal with the earth dragon. The humans were able to move again and decided that they needed to run away. The dragon started to recover after the girl's fire attack. Someone said that this girl is a true legend of the academy. This person with 4 stars and 91% special genes. Her name is Shangguan Kui. Shangguan said to leave this monster to her. Everyone here should run away from here and evacuate people. The workers of the cleanup bureau need to report what's going on inside. Staying officers of the clearance bureau must engage in search and rescue of survivors. Jiyu asked our hero if it would be possible for him to return to his former form. Shin-kun replied that it would take time. For now, it is necessary to hide. Jiyu rushed towards the rescuers and said that she was here and needed to be rescued urgently. Shin-kun was on the sidelines and tried to calm down. However, the strength of the new level was 10 times the previous level. With the genes of violent monsters, the size becomes larger as the level increases. One must restrain the strength to regain the human form. Bone structures change, too. 1% of the genes our hero received on the first day of rebirth are making themselves known. The genes had absorbed the DNA of the fat guy he'd just eaten. Maybe because he was also a member of the metal system. Sing-chun thought that due to their summation, this 1% had awakened. The guy decided to use them to try and stabilize the monster gene. Gotta be careful. Sang-gun decided that he needed to develop his bones. Now our hero could wield the power of the Earth Dragon's black fangs. Director Fan thanked Jiyu for her help. Thanks to her, it was possible to quickly find the 3 survivors. Director Fan thought, what other monster is hiding in the side? Jiyu thought that Shin-kun might be discovered at any moment. Director Fan and his nephew said that it was necessary to keep quiet. The sound might attract the monster. Jiyu thought, if Shin-kun is forced to go on the run, she will be by his side. Shin-kun came out of the open cell and said that he had just regained consciousness. He inquired what was going on. His left hand had a human form. Director Fan said for Shin-kun to follow him. A command came in that 5 survivors had been found. Jiyu was glad that Shin-kun was fine. Xinchun thought that it was as if all of his bones had turned into dragon fangs. However, the dragon's strength was still far away. The protagonist felt that he was still too weak. Director Fan was convinced that the dragon had escaped and issued an order to begin the evacuation. Xinchun thought that humans were very fragile. Everyone knows that only a 4-star dragon can defeat a dragon. However, this dragon is but a mere speck, the tale of a true hell. What lies beneath the ground is far beyond the limits of human capabilities. Xing once again decided that he must become stronger. To save people, our hero needs resources and strong genes. This will allow him and GU to become invincible. Until then, you'll have to carefully hide your abilities. In the city ruins, the monster lord was trying to overcome his nature. With only 1 year left, there's not much time left. The girl asked, "How long is this going to go on?" He's been watching them since they got here. Xing, excusing himself, said that he had just turned around. He wasn't thinking of anything like that. The world has changed a lot in just 1 year. Therefore, it is necessary to achieve 5 stars and to do it as soon as possible. The strongest man in the world has 4 stars. It is scary to imagine how strong a man with 5 stars would be. GU said that they would have to work hard, much harder than during the entrance exam. Xing stated for the girl to trust him, he will help her. GU said, "I certainly believe you." Xing stated that, first of all, she needed to advance to 3 stars within a month. GU reminded that she is the owner of 95% of special genes. The more of these genes, the more resources will be needed in the early stage. They have no supporters. Where will they get these resources? Our heroes were noticed by young men and called out to them. They were old acquaintances from the firing range. Jiangshan said that thanks to Xing help, they were all able to survive the past trial and would now be able to continue their training. The academy made an exception, and all survivors are considered to have successfully passed the tests. No one will ever forget Shinsong's kindness. They will obey him in everything until their last breath. GU noticed that her friend had gotten an errand boy. Jiangshan asked Xingchun, who was this girl? She had saved him, but he didn't have the chance to thank her that day. Xingchun said that her name was GU. The girl said hello to everyone. The young men were surprised. After all, this girl on the academy forum was called the strongest freshman since the academy was founded. Is it really that genius, GU? Jiangshan wondered if they were really dating. Xing and GU said in one voice that it was impossible. Our hero added that he and this girl are just friends since childhood. However, the young man was not believed, because they even have one suitcase for 2. The young man offered to form a team and said he had a suggestion. The college will host a competition with resources as the reward. Each freshman will receive a resource, and the competition will last for 3 hours. The young man added, if they formed a team, they could fight off other people's supplies. Jiangshan said that they shouldn't even think about it, because they are lagging behind and will be the main target, especially this time. Had he forgotten about that guy with 88% special genes? He's become the unspoken leader of the academy. His and his minions' goal was to take resources away from those with less than 50% special genes. It is quite difficult to awaken abilities when the genes are less than 50%. Zhang Shen added that he only had 39%. Xiao Tao has 41% special genes. Wu Yin is the possessor of only 50% of the special genes. Zhao Shen said that they shouldn't pull Xing Kun with them. Sign Kun told his companion that these people could be used as bait. If you make them into capable assistants, they will save a lot of time and effort, after all. This is a battle for resources. Xing Chun said that he would help these people become the strongest in the academy. That way they could excel in life while helping them. Jiyu wondered, wouldn't that shackle them with the shackles of an imposed friendship? Xing Tsung agreed to form a team. Zhao Shen said that there was no need to feel sorry for them. Xing Kyun explained that it's not about pity. He wants to form a team because Zhao Shen swore allegiance to him, and that is the most important thing when working in a team. Our hero added that if these 3 join the team, they will have a tough job ahead of them. Zhao Shen stated that Xing Kun would never regret the offer. Sign Kyun said that he had one idea. What if all the resources went to one person? Jiyu asked. Shouldn't Xing Kun keep them? Wu Ying agreed, but thought, something is not right here. Xing Kyun said that they start training tomorrow, but now he asks to walk them to the dormitory and help with the luggage delivery. Zhao Shen asked the leader how many special genes he had. Xing Kyun replied that they would find out tomorrow and would probably be horrified. The man introduced himself. His name is Fu Lan. He will be a teacher this year. Now he wants to start with some unpleasant news. If the students failed to awaken their power within a year, they would be expelled from the academy. Wu Ying, who had returned from the test, did not do too badly with his 50%. Zhao Shen raised his hand and said that he too had passed the test. Fulan reiterated that students must reach their potential in a year. Otherwise, they would remain ordinary people for the rest of their lives. Zhao Shen shouted again that he would do his best. Xing Chun inquired about the teacher. Zhao Shen said that if the number of genes was less than 50%, or the strength had not awakened, he would just call out the number of genes instead of names. Fulan stated that this class is special. This class will include the person with the highest number of special genes in history. Her performance is amazing for everyone, students and teachers alike. But that's not the most important thing. What surprised him much more was the guy whose number of special genes is only 1%. He too is a student here now. A person with so many special genes is no different from a normal person. He can stand up for all to see. The students began to look around. Who could it be? Zhao Shen thought that this person would definitely be targeted. Xingchun got up from his seat and said that he had awakened a power related to the metal system. Zhao Shen was surprised. Did this guy really only have 1% genes? Fulan asked in surprise. Is it possible to awaken strength with 1%? In that case, Xing Kun could go to the blackboard and help him give a lecture. Xing Kun did not refuse and hoped that he would get something for it. Fulan said he could offer an additional set of resources. Fulan warned the young man that this 1% could be his real nightmare. Xing Kun said that all awakened powers belong to one of the elements: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, ice, wind, thunder, and so on. In order to awaken one's powers, one must rely on special genes. Particles of the elements can be stored in these same genes. The work should be aimed at controlling them. It is necessary to try to preserve elements of elements within genes. The teacher said that when it is possible to control the presence of elemental elements, the genes will turn into the perfect battery and help one become awakened with one star. Fulan decided to demonstrate and said that a piece of metal would be needed first. The size of the element that can be stored in the gene is limited. Fulan said that since the young man only had 1%, it would be enough, and broke off a piece of metal. The teacher threw a piece of metal to our hero and said that he could only control that piece. Will Xing Kun be able to interact with it? Xing Kun thought that special power was the power of the elements, something that only the highest category monsters could possess. Could it be that he was a special monster? Fulan stated that everyone knows that everyone has their own genetic chain. Whether a student becomes an awakened or a monster depends on which gene is present in the DNA. Fortunately, everyone present was lucky enough to be awakened. The composition of the genes in the chain determines future achievements. Such is this unfair world. After 90%, each successive gene gives an even greater advantage. One student at 91% has the ability to breathe underwater, and a new star remains immune to 3,000 volts. If a man with 100% of special genes suddenly appears, he will be called God. On the contrary, the less special genes there are, the lower the sensitivity to the elements. If the number is less than 20%, practice is extremely difficult. There were no precedents of awakening at this amount before Xing Kun appeared. Xing Kun called out to the teacher. Xing Kun showed the teacher that the metal was quietly disappearing in his body and reappearing. Fulan wondered, where did he get such skills from? Fulan didn't understand. Wasn't his awakening just an ordinary chance? Teacher had said that either Xing Kun had a once-in-a-million skill, or he had incredible luck. Either one of the two, or something had happened. Fulan said to let the disciple keep this iron. He's about to teach him something. Show him the difference between 1% and 80%. Fulan said that 80 would easily defeat 1%, and there was no need to gather an entire army to do so. Everything could be stripped away on its own. Fulan pointed his hand at the students and said that he would be defeated now with a snap of his fingers. The only thing people with special genes should be afraid of was being weaker than the others. If he ended up being weak, he would have to hide behind those who were stronger. The students in the audience watched Teacher Fulan's manipulations with tension. Our hero recalled scenes from the past. He remembered destroying that teacher with his own hands while on the verge between life and death. He sacrificed himself for the students, buying them some time to escape. Fulan is a worthy representative of his profession. Xing noticed that the teacher was sweating. Fulan felt pressured by the student. Is this guy really trying to subjugate him with his miserable 1% genes? Xing thought, although he only had 1% of special genes. But he had managed to get a good amount of strength during this time. And one must not forget about the 99 of his monster brothers behind him. Xing realized that it wouldn't be difficult for him to overpower the teacher. However, our hero wasn't going to do that. He needed to slow down. He He didn't want the other students to get on him later. Xingqun lost his balance, swayed, and told the teacher that he could no longer continue. However, it looked very fake. Fulan realized that the student had succumbed to him. He was unable to overpower Xingqun. The students said that their teacher, Fulan, was very cool. So what does this guy with 1% genes only think? Fulan thought that he had almost ruined his reputation. The teacher thought, this kid sure has secrets of his own and he knows what he's doing. That's pretty curious. Fulan thanked the student for helping him with the demonstration, and added that it was enough for the first time. Fulan told the students that in their academy, the one who is the strongest wins. And this is their teaching philosophy. He hopes that all the students are ready for this. Now he proposed to start a new competition for beginners. One of the disciples expressed doubt that Xingqun was ready. How could he have confidence with his 1% genes? Xingqun said that he was going to defeat everyone and get all the resources. It sounded very arrogant. A young man approached our hero and asked if he really wanted to take possession of all the resources. Did he really manage to awaken with 1% of special genes? Yusheng said that he has 85% of special genes and controls water elements. Yusheng added that he respects Xingqun's confidence in himself. He wants to make an exception and invite him to his team. Yusheng announced that they were gathering students with more than 60% special genes to form a strong alliance. Yusheng thought if Xingqun joined them, that girl who was always with him would also agree. Together, they would be able to carry out the insane plan. They will then take all the resources from the weaker ones and can use them wisely. Xingqun replied, all Yusheng can do with such strength is bully the weak. Yusheng became angry. Who did this guy with 1% genes think he was? He shouldn't even have been accepted into the academy with such a score. He only passed the final test because Ji saved him. Everyone knows that. Yusheng said that he only invited Xingqun to his team to get Ji. Xingqun replied that in that case, this guy was unlucky. Yusheng said that their team would take away all the resources from the weak ones like Xingqun. Our hero replied, great, I'll keep my fists up for you guys. Fulan asked why Xingqun made this guy angry. Our hero replied that he was just being honest with him. The instructor stated that it was time to start the competition anyway. Students should approach to get resource coupons, and then proceed to the forest near the academy until further instructions. Xingqun received 2 coupons. The forest was near the academy, but it was forbidden to leave. Zhao Shen said that they needed to find Xingqun. Wu Yin apologized and said that he wouldn't go. Zhao Shen became indignant. Wu Yin said he should think of himself. Wu Ying explained that they said they would accept him into the alliance even with his 49% special genes. Zhao Shen was indignant, after all. Xingqun had promised to help them. Wu Yin admitted that he didn't think Xingqun was strong enough. Besides, he only has 1%. Not to mention that Xingqun had instigated the alliance. He didn't think that Xingqun would start acting like this from the beginning. Zhao Shen said that Wu Yin is a real traitor. Xiao Tao said that everyone has their own ambitions and should not be forced. The girl added that being in the crosshairs of such strong guys, Wu Ying would not return. Yusheng said that Xingqun's 1% is ridiculous. They will follow him wherever he goes. So Xingqun can prepare to weep. Xingqun hoped that it wouldn't take long for this guy to attack the weak. Yusheng was indignant. Does Xingqun think he is the smartest? What I'm about to do is called smart resource allocation. The girl ran off into the depths of the forest alone. Stopping for a breather, she decided she had already run far enough away to be safe. Suddenly, Yusong looked out from behind a tree and said that he couldn't run away from him, because the human body is 70% water. Yusong said that if the girl gave him her resources, she would not be hurt. The student refused, because those resources belonged to her. Yusong stated that she should blame herself for being too weak to join them. Yusong, using violence, took away the student's resources and said he would now follow the next student. Yuxiang's co-workers surrounded another student and told her that she had nowhere to run. She had to give up her resources. This continued to be the case with many students. A young man came out from behind a tree and asked Yuxiang had he already gotten all the resources he thought he deserved. Yuxiang was surprised that Fan Shizai had appeared here. He said that he didn't look for this guy, but the guy found him on his own, and that's great. Yusong decided to see if the heir of the Fan family, who had passed into the academy without a genetic test, had the qualifications to join their alliance. Shizai said that this guy directly read his mind. Mr. Fan activated his fire fist and said that he would see if Yuxiang was strong enough to become his subordinate. Yuxiang was indignant. Why is Fan Shizai acting as if everyone should treat him like a lord? Shizai attacked his opponent with his fire fist. Yuxiang thought, doesn't water put out fire? Even if the opponent is strong, his fire shouldn't be so weak. The students shouted that they would become stronger, and would definitely take revenge on that rascal Yu Xiang. Xing-kun thought that it wasn't as fast as he expected, but it looked like they were done. Yu Xiang's colleagues in the alliance said that they were not going to wait for these students to become stronger. In this world, the strong will eat the weak. However, if they want to try, they can press on. The alliance members said that it was now left to wait for brother Yu Xiang to pick up the last batch of resources. They hinted at Xing-kun and his team. The students said that Xing-kun's knees must already be shaking from fear. If it wasn't for Ji Yu, he would have lost long ago. The young man tensed when he saw that the girl with 95% of the genes had done something. It had certainly pleased her. The guy rushed towards Ji Yu with the intention of stopping her. However, this guy's fist is blocked by our hero and told that he needs to learn how to control his power. How long will it take him to do that? The attacker was frightened. Xing-kun's hand felt like it was made of metal. It was impossible to even move a finger. Does he really only have 1% of these genes? There was definitely something wrong with him. And what could happen in a moment? Fulan suggested that the academy's electricity bills will increase a lot from this semester. The finance department is in for a big headache. Xing-kun said that Ji Yu would still reveal her power, so she could act and send electric shocks at those guys. The attacker shouted to his colleagues that it was necessary to stop the girl. A colleague rushed over to help. However, we need to deal with this Xing-kun first. Xing-kun wondered. Why didn't Ji Yu still let the current flow? The girl said that she couldn't find another one. Our hero was already holding 2 people with one hand. The injured man shouted for his companions to pile on all together, but use caution because this Xing-kun is very strong. Xing-kun asked who Ji Yu couldn't find. Ji Yu replied that she didn't know where Yu Xiong was, but she had sent an email through the air. The girl said she found water fights fire. Xing-kun told the students with genes below 60% that they shouldn't be sad. They would be avenged. He took away all the coupons from those rascals. They could still succeed if they worked hard. Sang-chun wondered, why are the students running away? They shouldn't waste their energy after all. There's static electricity around, and they might get electrocuted. This was a secret that Ji Yu had told him about in his past life. The girl activated the point thunder. Yu Xiong kneeled down and tried to counter Fang Shizai's fiery onslaught with his water. Yu Xiong said that this guy's pathetic flame wouldn't be able to stop him. Fan Shi said that in such a case, the opponent could attack. Yu Xiong was restrained. The fiery hand grabbed him, and his water elemental could not free himself. Fan Shizai stiffly held his opponent in a fiery fist. Fan Shizai wondered, would this Yu Xiong even last a minute? However, the young man couldn't give a decent fight back. Yu Xiong thought that the difference between them was too great. Fan Shizai let his opponent go and said that he was suitable. Now, Yu Xiong and his boys will work for him. Fan Shizai said that he had 3 stars, and with his strength, he would have no problem graduating from the academy. Yu Xiong was able to defend himself with his element without being burned or defenseless. That was not a bad thing. Yu Xiong wondered why Fan Shizai had entered in such a case if he already had 3 stars. Shizai said that they are here fighting for resources, but he has a different goal. He is here to recruit young talents like Yu Xiong for the Fan family. However, don't worry. The Fan family will help everyone to discover their talents. With the Fan family, Yu Xiong will become much stronger. Fighting in this world is quite hard. Yu Xiong said that he accepts this offer, and at this moment, lightning bolts appeared in the air. Yu Xiong was struck by lightning and was deactivated. He collapsed on his back. Fan Shizai thought it was Ji Yu's mischief. He found himself immobilized. Yu Xiong, lying on his back, said that he couldn't move. Xing-kun said to Zhao Shen and Xiao Tao to collect the coupons. These 2 won't be able to move in the next hour. Xing-kun waved his hand and greeted Fan Shizai. It turned out that this guy was not easy to take out. Yu Xiong shouted that this electric current was too strong. Ji Yu said that Fan Shizai may not bother. She will not join him. Fan Shi said that he respects her decision and will wait for her to change it of her own free will. Sang-kun told her companion to rest for a while. This guy wasn't someone she could fight right now. Our hero added that he wanted to, in addition, test his strength. Fan Shizai ignited the area in front of him with his fiery hand. Sang-kun approached his opponent with the metal in his hand and said that Fan seemed to be slightly nervous. Maybe it was because no one had ever managed to get so close to him before. Fan Shizai said that these 2 were overconfident and prepared to attack his opponent. Xing-chun said that Fan Shizai with his 90% could use as many as 2 fire hands. However, it was quite energy-consuming. Fan Shizai ignited everything around him and said that Xing-chun now had nowhere to run to. Shizai clenched his hands and a fiery fist squeezed our hero. Yu Xiong said that Fan Shizai could destroy his opponent with such strength. Fan replied that nothing would happen to this guy since he was able to survive the final trial. Xing-kun jumped above the flames, releasing himself from the fire fist and prepared to pounce on his opponent. Yu Xiong was surprised. The fiery hands couldn't catch Xing-kun. Fan Shizai activated thousands of flaming hands. Xing-kun thought that those hands had become significantly larger. However, these hands have become much smaller in size. Our hero thought that with his blade and 1%, he would just cut them open. Xing-kun thought through that this guy was good at fighting. Obviously, he had awakened quite a while ago. Fan wondered what had happened to this Xing-kun. Fan Shizai couldn't understand why his opponent's blade was so sharp. However, since they are in training, they will not be without injury. But the likelihood of being seriously injured is extremely low. There was a clash of superpowers. Fan Shizai decided to use the power of his 90% to attack his 1%. Fan Shizai decided that he would attack his opponent's special gene. It takes at least a year and a half to restore the special genes. The representative of the Fang family thought that he didn't need such an eyesore. He wanted to get rid of Xing-kun. However, he noticed that this gen incredibly strong. Who would believe that this guy had just awakened? Even a bit like Uncle Gene's with his 4 stars. Our hero plopped down on the ground and shouted that Fan Shizai was incredibly tough. Xing-kun stated that he was facing the strongest person on the stream. He was willing to admit defeat. Teacher Fulan announced that the competition was over. He hoped that everyone had learned something useful. Now you have to hand in your coupons. He will take them to the resource department. Xing-kun gave the teacher 78 coupons and said that it was necessary to count them carefully. Fulan said that this is quite arrogant. Now this company will definitely be criticized by everyone. Fulan said that there should be another coupon. Fan couldn't understand where his coupon had gone. Xing-kun said that he completely forgot. When he lost to Shizai, he saw a coupon on the ground and picked it up. Fan said for this guy to shut up and not call him by his name. Xing-kun apologized to Shizai and said that he could return this coupon. Fan said that Xing-kun could keep the coupon and thought that he would definitely deal with this guy. After counting the coupons, Xing-kun and his team received a large amount of resources. Our hero began to distribute them. Xiao Tao said that she had a question for the commander. The girl said, since Xing-kun could have defeated Shizai, why didn't he do it? Xing-kun said that this young man is the heir of the Fan family, and for them, resources are more important. This guy is not a priority. Zhaoshen said that Xing-kun was heading to the women's dormitory. They live elsewhere. Sang-kun said that he would go another way. The academy allocates separate seats for the high-scoring guys so that they wouldn't accidentally injure their comrades. Zhaoshen said that Xing-kun is heading to Ji-Yu's dormitory. The sister said that her brother is not thinking straight. Zhaoshen realized something and said goodnight to his brother and sister-in-law. Sang-kun told the girl that it would take a night to teach her how to absorb resources quickly. And it seems that since high school, they haven't slept together yet. Ji-Yu replied, it was all because he had a constant mess. Who would want to sleep in a pigsty? Xing-kun said, now he has a new life. Ji-Yu thought that this guy no longer seemed like he was before. Once upon a time, extraordinary creatures appeared in this world. Mankind studied their powers in an attempt to recreate them. Although it is still impossible to synthesize such power artificially, people have learned to use the energy of animals as a kind of food. Such energy is used to strengthen a person with special genes. It makes humans look like monsters that devour humanity for similar purposes. The liquid that Xing-kun drank just now seemed tasteless to him. Or was he just fed up? People from the Ministry of Resources say that one such bottle a day is the best way to achieve high results. Xing-kun said for Ji-Yu not to worry about the electricity bill and work hard. We need to get to 1 star as soon as possible. Xing-sun said to have Ji-Yu run an electric current through him. He wants to see if the quality of electricity in his body has changed after this serum, Ji-Yu said as Xing-kun moved very close to her. The young men's faces were indeed side by side. Ji-Yu thought that Xing-kun had changed a lot. He really doesn't communicate with those girls anymore. He even deleted their phone numbers. After high school, they weren't that close. Now the young man had invaded his personal space and was unacceptably close. He said that Ji-Yu might electrocute him. Sang-kun stated that the girl was very strong and he wouldn't dare to do such a thing in a fight. Sang-kun plopped the girl on the floor and approached again, asking what was happening to her. A blush of embarrassment appeared on Ji-Yu's face and she asked, why is Xing-kun doing this? Ji-Yu turned away and thought that they were friends after all. There's no way he wants to destroy her. The girl told Xing-kun to get up. It looked very strange. Sang-kun stated that he seemed to want to eat her. Ji-Yu asked as the guy didn't say such nonsense. Our hero's face began to turn into a monster, and he said that Ji-Yu smelled really good and he couldn't help himself. Ji-Yu jumped to her feet and directed an electric charge at the guy. Under the electric current, he flew off to the side. The girl declared that he couldn't eat her. Xiaotou saw the lightning from her dorm room and thought that these young people didn't get a private dorm room for nothing. After our hero came to his senses, he said that Ji-Yu really has too many genes. The smell that comes from her is too strange for him. It's a big temptation. Singun noticed that her electricity had become clearer. She would definitely have no problems with the accuracy of her attacks. Sang-chun said he had to go out for a while. Ji-Yu tossed the guy a mask and told him to wear it if he was going to do something bad. Sang-gun told Ji-Yu not to worry. He was just going to have a snack and would bring her something delicious. Sang-chun thought that he was now an early stage level 3 monster. Sing-kun put on his mask, walked out of the dormitory and tried using his new skill of destroying level 3 monsters. Sang-gun decided that he needed to be more careful and hide his left hand. The rest of us will think he is of the fire element. Sang-kun had a strange feeling again and decided that he needed to hide the flame immediately. Our hero felt his heart racing. He saw a dragon he had met before at the testing ground. Although he was at the academy now, it was located not that far from the testing ground. That dragon was still looking for him. Sang-chun assumed that the dragon had sensed him. If he used flames, the dragon would find him pretty quickly. Sing-kun thought that dinner tonight would not be as delicious as he would have liked. Not only dragons dwell underground, but also monsters that humans have yet to discover. And those who have turned into monsters do not die a natural death. When they die, the smoke they turn into is a blob of power. He will definitely face these underground monsters, because in a year's time, the monsters will gather enough power and come out. Then the world will end. In his past life, our hero was able to solve a riddle about one of these underground monsters. The man thought he had a headache. Where is it that he is? He only remembered being offered a stress reliever. The man told the child on the phone that he would be home soon, and the masked stranger immediately put him to sleep. The man came to his senses and saw that he was tied up and being moved somewhere in a car. There were similar prisoners next to him. The driver asked the masked man, "Did I get the dose wrong? Why did this guy wake up so early?" The man said to let him go immediately, because it was kidnapping, and it was illegal. The masked kidnapper wondered, how did this happen? The dosage was right. This guy must be special. A masked visitor suggested they had caught a big fish. The driver suggested that this man had a lot of special genes in his body, which is why he woke up early. I wonder how much they can get for him. It probably has about 80% of the special genes. The driver assumed that it was a rank A item. It could be sold at 7 times the price of a rank D item. They will definitely get rich from this. It was a good thing he hadn't awakened. Otherwise, it would have been much harder to catch him. At that moment, a huge fist appeared in front of the car and struck the hood. The man, who appeared as if from nowhere, hit the car with all his might, and the car, stopping, began to roll over. The man who had conjured it jumped up and was above the car. The minivan with the captive passengers rocked and stopped in place. The masked robbers wondered, who is he and where did he come from? Why doesn't the car start now? The driver told his companion to check the goods immediately. Can't let them turn into monsters. He's going to try to deal with this guy outside. The man outside smashed the driver's door glass and grabbed the driver by the throat. The driver was ejected from the vehicle. He asked, "Who is this guy?" and thought, who could have blurted out the information? The stranger asked, didn't they figure it out? The stranger was our hero, who had previously put on the mask offered to him by Ji-Yu. Sang-kyun told the driver that he was the one who would send him straight to hell. The kidnappers decided that this man should be gotten rid of immediately. The captive, who was conscious, began to wake the others and shout that they had been kidnapped. The villain thought that now all the people would regain consciousness. This could not be allowed to happen, so he uncorked a vial of vaporizing liquid. The captive was frightened. "Are we going to be sold?" The man uttered in fear that he was safe. Thanks to the Atonement Society, his mind is clear. He won't turn into a monster. His wife left him because of those damn genes, but he has a small child waiting for him at home. The villain told the man not to worry. His kid is probably on the list too. He'll be picked up next time. Now he has to go to sleep. The masked kidnapper put this man to sleep too. He said the dosage didn't matter this time. The driver, using his unique abilities, said he was an awakened one with 3 stars, and his lightning bolts would turn this stranger to ashes. The masked man saw the blue flame his opponent was emitting. However, it didn't neutralize his lightning bolts, and both could have been hurt. Sing-kyun attacked his opponent with his left hand, and the masked man flew far back. The villain felt the pain in his hands, but after all, it was only a drop of flame. Why is this guy still okay? The villain wondered if this man really wanted to save those with monster genes. They're the carriers. Once they awaken, there will be chaos. They are doing a good thing by destroying these chimeras. They are working for the good of society. The villain added that this guy has no idea who he's messing with. Shin-kyun stated that human trafficking has nothing to do with good deeds. Our hero stepped on the villain and crushed his mask with his foot. The villain said someone had to shoulder the burden. But how did he know about human trafficking? Shin-kyun declared that he would help the villain find a path to redemption. Shin-kyun said that these people find information about the location of the carriers, then fake their destruction as if they were destroyed when they turned, and then sell the unfortunate ones to the secret experimental base of the Fan family. Not understanding how this man knew so much, Shin-kyun asked, how many innocent people had already been kidnapped by these rascals? Does anyone count them? He's helping to purify society. The pacification procedure only gives them a reprieve, but the extermination solves the problem at the root. Shin-kyun told this guy not to say too much and only answer questions. As expected, their Redemption Church was founded about 3 years ago. At first glance, it helped monster gene carriers to get together and socialize. After half a year of their existence, they began to organize large-scale conferences where the carriers were the lecturers. This was done to make it even easier to destroy them. They secretly recorded the information on the carriers and sold it. The Fang family bought such people out to experiment on obtaining serum with their energy. By then, the evidence against them had been destroyed. This guy only knew the delivery route where a high-ranking church member was once arrested. The Fan family needed the monster's genes. Besides experimentation, the carriers have another role to feed the underground monsters. Shin-kyun asked the villain how many of them the Fan family had. The opponent said that there was only one base. Shin-kyun pressed harder on his head, and the criminal confessed that he knew of 2 more bases. Shin-kyun said that if the villain lied to him one more time, his head wouldn't be able to stand. There are many bases and even monster breeding farms all over the country. In this city, he only knows of one and can take this person there. Shin-kyun asked what the man knew about underground monsters. The villain was surprised. Is such a thing possible? Our hero suggested that this person did not have access to important information, and added that they would now go to the monster factory. The villain, rising to his feet, said they were going there right away and stealthily tried to attack our hero. The rascal said that this man would get to know these hosts, and added that he was about to blow this guy's head off. Shin-kyun blocked the attacker's attack and said that the car was very close by. He must shout too loudly, otherwise his comrade would simply not hear. The villain with a broken mask on his face wondered, how did this man manage to block his attack so easily? He hadn't even used the power of his flame. What was happening to his palm? Shin-kyun took the mask off his face and said that compared to his opponent, he didn't trust people who were trying to escape. The villain saw the face under the mask. It was the face of a monster. The criminal thought that he couldn't hide now. The level of discharge he was using was not suitable for facing monsters. In the minivan, the miscreant tried to put the awake man to sleep. He threatened and told him not to hold his breath or his jaw would be broken. The villain looked around and saw the masked man approaching him. He wondered how he had managed to kill his colleague so quickly. The perpetrator thought that his life was at stake, and there was no way he was going to give this man the contents of that car. The perpetrator sprayed the interior and jumped out of the car. Shin-kyun approached the car. The awakened captive leaned out of the window and tried to catch his breath. Shin-kyun said that officially, they were already dead. Their location information had been changed so that they could turn around. After that, the villains would destroy them. Shin-kyun added that redemption had deceived everyone. They shouldn't let anyone know that they were alive, and they shouldn't return to the city. The captor was afraid, for his son was still in the city. What should he do? The frightened masked criminal kept running away. The academy was built on an island near Nanyu City. The city of Nansha used to stand here. However, 20 years ago, monsters appeared in this world and began to break out. Only after 5 years, humanity managed to drive the monsters away and stabilize society. But Nansha remained a destroyed city. After the sweep, the academy, the Institute for Genetic Research, the testing ground, and other organizations related to all things extraordinary settled here. Our hero has reached the ruins of the city of Nansha. It was here that the Fan family secretly built a monster factory. The chained monsters tried to reach the masked man. The young man raised his head and looked at the camera. He said that it was actually him. Besides, the defense line made up of monsters annoys him insanely. Every time he comes here, he has to listen to that disgusting roar. But these monsters immediately alert you if someone tries to get in. Even an invisible man can't get past their sensitive sense of smell. The man was asked over the speakerphone where the electric eel was now and where the cargo was. Had something gone wrong? The villain said he had questions. Who could have leaked the information? Someone is coming this way. Probably the electric eel is already dead. The man added that he spotted it in time and was able to escape. Every second counts now. Over the speakerphone came the reply, "Is someone on his trail?" The man said he had 3 stars. No one would be able to keep up with him. Only if that person had a dog sniff. Even if he tracks him down, he can't get past the monsters. He would only turn into fodder here. The gate opened, and the man stepped inside. The guard was surprised to see a shadow flicker there. Or was it just his imagination? The man who came inside said that the monsters didn't make a single sound, so he had to take a better look at the cameras. Our hero was near the chained monsters, however. They really didn't give up a sound. He went unnoticed by the first-level monsters, for they treat him like a brother. Moving forward, our hero thought that there are many blind spots that are not viewed by video cameras. Singun decided to make a hole in the wall. The lab asked if the new product had already been delivered. After all, they had already run out of materials. The man on the table opened his mouth and shouted loudly. The doctor wondered. Hadn't they removed the vocal cords? The man asked what they were going to do to him. The assistant apologized. The man wasn't moving, so he thought it wasn't necessary. The doctor stated that if you just remove the genes like that, they will burn. In order to transfer them intact, they have to be handled properly. Genes have to be taken out of living individuals. Their bodies are just storage for transportation. They won't do anything without limbs, but their cries are tiresome. The doctor stated that the materials need to be handled responsibly and carefully. You don't want to get the rest of us in trouble. The man was screaming for help. What are they doing to him? At least his wife should be released. She has very few monster genes. She has a low probability of ever turning. The doctor paid no attention to the unhappy patient's words. The patient saw his wife's still face in one of the cells and became very frightened. The man got angry and shouted that he would destroy everyone here. These sinners must not survive. The doctor told the assistant that if someone else had encountered this, there would have been problems, and the research would have been compromised. This experiment is extremely important. One cannot stop in front of obstacles to progress. You have to be as focused and careful as possible. At that moment, the light in the room went out. The doctor wondered, what happened to the electricity? We need to check the backup power. Mr. Sun was informed that the entire laboratory was de-energized and the wires had been cut. A masked man entered the lab and asked Mr. Sun, was he the one who leaked the information? There was an ambush today. Why is the doctor so stunned, and where did the electricity go? Dr. Sun said it was this man who led the tale that caused all the power to go out here. Dr. Sun declared a level 1 alert. A man takes up a smartphone. The lab is invaded by an unknown assailant. We need to report this to our superiors. Mr. Sun attempted to transmit information, but his smartphone was destroyed by an unknown narrow beam. Sun said that the spy was already here. The masked man said that this guy was very dangerous. Security guards burst into the lab and were ordered to find the intruder. The guards were suddenly and intensely attacked and deactivated. Our masked hero entered the lab and declared that the real villain was before him, adding that his appetizer today would not be to his liking. Mr. Sun wondered, is this person really here because of this garbage with monster genes? But they are dangerous to society, and in this lab, they are beneficial. The doctor told the man to stay out of it if he didn't know anything and left them that material. Mr. Sun said their security system is completely useless and they are not doing their job well. However, the guards who appeared claimed they were fine and would soon destroy the uninvited brazen man for breaking in here without asking. The masked villain also decided to attack our hero and declared that he would avenge him for everything. Dr. Sun wondered, who could this man be? Could he be from the sweep team or the academy director's man? Why is he acting so arrogant? Mr. Sun thought that they have a 3-star wind elemental master and 2 3-star guards on their side. They are holding the secret medicine. Even with 4 stars, this brazen man can't escape defeat. He must be kept alive to extract his precious genes. One of the guards activated the tornado. The other guard used Scarlet Flame, amplifying it by half. Director Sun has noticed that they have an entire lab to study the fire elemental, and this guy unleashes himself on them. Now he has to face the fire sword. However, the guard was surprised. Was there something wrong with his flame? The guards were stunned by the attacker's incredible strength. His blue flames consumed everything around him. The masked villain thought it must be some special destructive technique, one of the attacker's abilities. This was the first time he'd encountered something like this. The masked villain was sure that genes played a part in this. The villain says that if this guy can hit him twice, he'll admit that the guy is really strong. Shin-kyun swung with his left hand and delivered a crushing blow to his opponent. The guards, seeing this, thought that with this blow the attacker had smeared the enemy as if he had been hit by a truck. The guards have decided that this guy is not that easy. He's definitely level 3. However, his disadvantages are obvious. He won't be able to turn around in a confined space. Either way, you have to keep your distance from him. You have to approach him discreetly, without letting him get too close. The guards, while attacking, activated Scarlet Flame Stream and Fire Pipe. It was a dual attack. Director Sun thought that the guards were clearly mistaken. To reach the 3rd level, this guy would have to pump up his abilities. But that didn't mean that he could control the elements just as well. Dr. Sun has been studying the Fang family's techniques for many years. He is very familiar with the nature of fire. This power doesn't depend on having an aptitude for a particular element. This guy seems to control the element itself with physical strength. The guard's flame technique had awakened his own technique within him, and he was getting stronger and stronger. He could no longer be contained. The guards decided to quickly use the flame source to regain their strength. Mr. Sun noted that the source of the flame is their main trump card. It is a medicine developed by the Fan family based on the eternal flame found underground. It helps fire element people to temporarily level up and break through to the 4th level. One of the guards said that the destructive power of fire flows in it. The guards decided this guy couldn't handle a level 4 technique. However, the flames that this guy wielded were very similar to the flames that the Fang family dreamed of possessing. Shin-kun's left hand pierced through the guard's fiery attack. However, for this amount of abnormal genes in the body, there must be at least 90%. This is truly the eternal flame that exists underground. The guards could not overpower our hero. They could not understand how it happened. After all, they had improved their level. Mr. Sun said this guy can't beat their flames. The doctor added that the rate of special genes in the young man's body is extremely high, so his flame is different. Only those with the number of genes exceeding 90% can possess such a flame. It is similar to the underground eternal flame with its consuming properties. Shin-kyun said that he was interested in the location of the underground eternal flame and wanted to see it. Dr. Sun said that if the boy joined them, he would take him there. After all, they work for the Fan family. This person's genes are very strong, and he will be useful in the Fan family. If he can ignite the eternal flame, it will be an incredible discovery for the whole world. The doctor remarked that they didn't have to fight each other. Together they could accomplish great things. Xing-tsung said he had just destroyed those guys. Dr. Sun remarked that they were just guards. The scientists are alive, so there's no problem. Shin-kun noticed that they were talking about monsters. He was sure that there was nothing left of those scientists anymore. Our hero adds that he just let all the monsters out. The door is sealed, but they have no other choice. They need to find food. Shin-kun told the doctor that they are turning people into monsters, and from the paws of these monsters they will all die. That's fair. The doctor was afraid. This man has special genes. What good would it do him to help monster gene carriers? Shin-kun said that it would be revenge for his brothers. Our hero closed the eyes of the injured man and told his brother to rest in peace. He would take revenge on the Fan family for everyone. The doctor was surprised. How could this man call those scum his brothers? Shin-kun reminded him that he was still interested in the eternal flame. Otherwise, the doctor would ask for a quick demise. The doctor saw the monsters and, frightened, said he would tell all. Mr. Sun stated that the eternal flame is in Nansha. Shin-kun said that he knows much more than the doctor thinks he does. He also knows everything about the Fan family. The protagonist added that the doctor is stalling to wait for reinforcements. However, he is also waiting for reinforcements. Xing-tsun remarked that there was no need to display his strength in such a gloomy place. A suitable person was on his way. Shun asked, "What is this guy up to?" Shin-kyun was surprised. "Doesn't the doctor have a clue?" the doctor asked. "Why aren't the monsters trying to eat this guy? What kind of system does he have?" Shin-kun said that the real monster is precisely this doctor. Our hero added that this was just what the doctor was thinking. He didn't have much to do with the elements. The doctor was destroyed by the monsters. Shin-chun could smell the scent of strong special genes coming from above. Right now, there are a lot of monsters in the factory. However, the one who arrived here will not be able to get in easily. There are a few exits here. If you go out, you can definitely meet them. So all that man has to do is sit and wait. Shin-kun told the fellow monsters that they could look for whatever they wanted here. There's something valuable to be found here. In the refrigerator, our hero found the liquids of life. How did the Fang family get their hands on this? The quality of this substance is much higher than the one given out at the academy. Xingqian thought that this amount would be enough for him for 3 days, and decided that he would take it all. Also, our hero will need the pills that the guards took. Xingqian said that it was now the monster's turn, or had they already had enough? When our hero dreams about his previous life, he sees monsters that attack the city. Now the guy wished these monsters to take care of themselves on their way to his stomach. Having refreshed himself, our hero decided it was time for him to go home. Stepping outside, our hero saw the one who had been waiting for him for so long. The stranger said that letting the monsters eat everyone was quite cruel of the man. The villain said he was jealous of his opponent. He would like to see everything with his own eyes. The villain said that the guy should not resist and get on his knees. The villain decided to activate a circular attack and directed his inner potential at our hero. Xingqian didn't think that the person coming here would turn out to be a news star. This was the one who awakened the Earth system transcendent with 4 stars. Xingqian noticed that due to his abilities, this person had tortured and destroyed a total of 13 women. The S-rank mop-up team ambushed him at the bar. Does the fan family even hire trash like him? The villain said that this guy was well informed. The criminal said, "So does Xingqian realize the situation he is in?" From the moment they met, his personal nightmare began. The villain added, "If Xingqian knows who he is, he should realize that the next few hours would be under the control of his forces. He will scream like a girl. Tears will flow to the ground as he begs for mercy." The villain attacked our hero and told him to shout louder or he wouldn't hear him through the rocks. The villain was surprised. Was he really being countered by blue flames? How could this guy be able to resist such a weight and was able to block his attack? No wonder he risked sneaking into the factory alone. He must be the strongest 3-star he's ever met. The villain used a series of attacks: Life Element, Saturn Card, Double Strike. Xingqian thought, even if he used his blue flame now, the opponent would not be defeated. These 4 stars are much stronger. He needs to be ambushed. Our hero, looking out of the underground cave, asked if his opponent wanted to conserve his strength. He'd better get away now, if he didn't want to die ridiculously. The villain said the rougher this guy is, the more he'll like it. The villain added, the longer this went on, the more excited he got. There was a new attack, after which our hero thought it was time to throw away all his strength. The protagonist activated his full left arm mutation and decided to pounce on his opponent himself. The villain wondered who he had behind him now. He senses a powerful aura. Our hero applied an improved strike, combining it with absolute defense. A monster-like outgrowth emerged from the young man's left transformed arm. This outgrowth with sharp teeth detached from his palm and stabbed into his opponent's back. The villain wondered. Had this guy really decided to tickle him? Not even a hair fell from his head at this. Was Xingqian really trying to escape from him? The villain said that under the weight of his gravity, his opponent doesn't stand a chance. Our hero struggled to activate his 1% special genes. This was to prevent the monster's genes from taking over. The villain felt an earthquake. Is someone trying to break out of the ground? Xingqian thought it would be better if the Earth Dragon just looked at this guy, because thanks to the monster-like outgrowth on his opponent's back, his scent was left behind. The villain, sensing that something was about to burst out of the ground, activated the 3rd stage of the Earth technique and set up an Earth barrier. However, the dragon lashed out, and nothing could stop it. The villain couldn't hold it back any longer. The mercenary couldn't understand where this dragon had come from. The villain was surprised. Was the Earth Dragon really looking right at him? The dragon approached the man. The guy bounced aside, not understanding what the dragon wanted from him. The dragon opened its mouth and tried to swallow the mercenary. The young man began to suspect that his opponent was controlling this dragon. The miracle didn't happen, and the villain was attacked by the dragon. Xingqian said that he was safe for today. The young man reported that he had opened this abscess earlier than planned. What happens next will depend on the cleanup bureau. The Bureau of Cleanup needs to get rid of this boil. The young men saw our hero and said that the target was approaching. The girls asked Sister Kui if they could do it by themselves. Shouldn't we call more boys? Sister Kui replied that there were enough of them to contain the Earth Dragon. We need to prepare a tether formation. Those present today will be honored to destroy the Earth Dragon. Kui reported that the dragon was approaching. About 300 meters left. Everyone get ready and take their positions. Sister Kui tracked the dragon's movement and warned of its distance. The girls were at the ready and applied the stone trap. Kui thought that last time there were too many people and missed opportunities here, so the dragon managed to escape. It can't go on like this anymore. Boss ordered her to guard this city. As long as that dragon is alive, she won't be able to search for a partner properly. The Watcher reported that there was someone in front of the dragon. Who could it be? Soundwave modeling suggested that this was the one who had tortured the 13 women. Where could he have come from? Kuei said that this is a villain who has been sentenced to severe punishment, and it is necessary to destroy them both. The girl activated the water dragon, dissecting. The villain thought, has someone come to save him? Most likely, these people are out to get him. The villain tried to hide and activated the third stage of the Earth technique, full fusion. Kuei attacked the dragon, and using her skills began to strike it. The girl said she'd have to give the villain a taste of her sword. The villain thought it was lucky. It's luck to meet these people who took on the dragon. The mercenary decided he couldn't handle the dragon without these men, and proceeded to retreat to safety. The villain thought that today was not his day, for he had failed in his mission. That man was not so simple. Another earth dragon appeared in front of the culprit, popping out from the ground. Sister Kuei also fixed another dragon. The dragon was large. The girl didn't understand what it could have fattened up so much underground. The experts said there weren't very many of these creatures. Why are there 2 of them here at once? How many more could there be underground? Sister Kuei noticed that this dragon was unconventionally long, and they wouldn't even be able to see its tail. Sis Kuei said to keep him under control and not let him escape. The girl pounced on the dragon and said she would chop it into small pieces. The young man told Shangguan Kuei not to jump into the dragon's mouth. Its teeth cannot be destroyed. Shangguan declared that only let that dragon try to bite her. The dragon activated the transformation. Dissection. Everyone saw that it was the power of the 4 stars. It was as if his dragon had come to life. Isn't it closer to a 5-star? Would it really become the first 5-star power in the country? Sister Kuei is unbelievable. Guan Kui said she had succeeded, and now she would see how long this dragon was. The girl began to count the length of the dragon and wondered, was it possible? Did the genes of monsters allow animals to mutate so much? Shangguan thought that her strength was not enough to know the length of this dragon. However, it was too dangerous to descend on her own. The only thing left to do was to retreat. The colleagues remarked that this was the country's first earth dragon slaying. Did they really succeed? Shangguan thought. Is this dragon really an ordinary monster? Has it really been destroyed? The Fan family's Flame of Life research base. The head of the family was told that all the factories on the other side of the ruins had been destroyed. None of their scientists had survived, and the couriers were also dead. The perpetrator of these incidents had disappeared, and according to intelligence, he had been eaten by an earth dragon. The reporter said they were exposed but didn't have time to react. Key information was automatically destroyed. According to the director's previous instructions, this was reported to the Elimination Headquarters. It was presented as a simple monster research institute. However, the clearance office was interested in this, and they are now discussing whether to leave the available freedom of research. The presenter said it would probably just be a reprimand. The director inquired as to who was at fault. The rapporteur stated that according to the information received, it was a blue flame. It is capable of absorbing other types of flames, and is characteristic of advanced fire elemental wielders. When combined with the eternal flame, it becomes the key. The principal's nephew said that they would unlock the Eternity Flower and be able to obtain the key to the eternal flame. Principal Fan thought that the strongest fire element warriors had been born in their family for 3 generations. They had put a lot of labor into creating fire maps. Even if a person could unlock the eternal flame flower, they would need at least 90% of special genes, so they can do it on their own. But aren't the experiments complete? We just need to extract the blue flame gene. The young man thought that as the son of the Fan family, he would be able to use this key. Yes, let it be the eternal flame, and then their family would gain even greater greatness. The assistant said they need to track down the blue flame, but this world is very big. Director Fan stated that they just need to find this person. We need to ask the garbage men for help. Mr. Fan said to report to the mop-up headquarters that their lab was destroyed, and precious materials and resources were stolen by a blue flame wielder. This person might have something to do with the appearance of the Earth Dragon. Young Master Fan said that he would definitely make this flower bloom. We need to get our own flame. The root of the flower went deep underground. The Eternal Flame underground research base was 5,000 meters underground. The mercenary, out of the dragon's mouth, didn't realize where he was. Everything around him was sticky with blood. The mercenary wondered, what kind of monster was this in front of him now? How is the existence of such a huge monster possible in principle? What is its level? Figured he needed to hide most of his resources and pull them out as needed, or he would definitely be discovered. The boy didn't think anyone realized the dragon was after him. It had probably been dealt with long ago. Xing-kun said that he had already returned and brought Ji Yu some goodies. It would definitely improve her strength. Like Sang-chun thought that they could track him through his aura. What should he do? Would they try sending mercenaries after him to make him the object of their research? There was no need to resort to the Earth Dragon's power for now. At the Eternal Flame research base, the management demanded to gather and limit their development speed, or else it might attract the attention of the Sweep Bureau. If the end of the world is a cancer that can't be cured, then the earlier the pockets of disease appear, the better. A staff member pointed out to the audience that the Eternal Flame flower had bloomed. Everyone present rejoiced, because this is progress. The employee said that the director left a few minutes ago. It is necessary to get him back quickly. However, blue flames appeared in the laboratory area. One of the mercenaries who broke into the lab said that this was indeed a breakthrough. Now one can activate their powers at any time. Their captain is invincible. The mercenary said that it was their turn. The Fang family had gathered them, the dead, together for a reason. After all, they are the team that will terrify the Clearing Bureau. The commander added that among them were 4 stars and 7 with 3 stars. A colleague said that the commander was wrong, as there were 6 with 4 stars. The training was productive. The team commander stated that it was now time to fulfill their mission. It is necessary to destroy everyone who gets in the way, even if they are representatives of the Cleanup Bureau. No one in or out. The commander stated for the A-team to follow him. They would be responsible for blocking the attacks. The commander added that Team B is responsible for destroying the enemy. Team C is monitoring the situation. No one should escape. And Q has to hide and find the opponent's vulnerable spot. The commander added that anyone who shows up in the base area is their enemy. It is necessary to gather all the forces and destroy them all. After the gate was opened, AQ, who had managed to hide, was surprised. Had everyone but him been annihilated in an instant? And Chu reported to the boss. He held his breath and escaped. Only then did he see that there was no one there. It was all the petals of the flower. Strangely, it wasn't the shenanigans of a person from the flower. It's all the power of fire. It's many times the power of a dragon. The petals can become invisible. They left the base and went somewhere. And Chu told Mr. Fan that this is a real disaster. It is necessary to tell the Clearance Bureau about it. Otherwise, a huge number of people will suffer. Mr. Fan said that anyone who reveals what's going on here will die. After saying that, he snapped his fingers and ignited this guy's head. The director thought it was strange that a person condemned to death was worried about other people's lives. Mr. Fan ordered this guy's genes to be taken away so they wouldn't go to waste. The nephew said that everything worked out just as his uncle had said. The flower took root. Its powers have succeeded. When it comes into contact with the special genes, it starts to react. Soon, we can achieve 4 stars through research and get the Eternal Flame. We'll just have to beef up security. This flower is actually a mutated monster. They just didn't expect this monster to be able to move around. What was important was that the flower responded to special genes. In time, the creatures the Fan family would raise would take over the world. This treasure should only belong to them. Ji-yu asked the young man why he was looking at her like that. Does he want to eat her? Sang-kun replied that he had already eaten dinner. It would take him at least 10 days to digest everything, during which time he would be able to reach the 3rd level. Before he could advance to the 4th level, he would need to develop his abilities to 3 stars. Xing Tsung decided that he would try to stabilize the monster's genes with special genes. That way his body shape shouldn't go beyond human. But he has too few special genes. He would need a little help to reach 3 stars. Turning to his companion for help, our hero held out his hand to her. The young man's left hand began to transform again. A monster-like outgrowth appeared from the palm of his hand, and the guy said he needed to test the effect. Chiyu told Shingun to be lower with her, but the spur dug into her neck and the girl said she was in pain. Chiyu noticed that Shin-kun had activated her special genes. Sang-kun agreed that it worked very quickly. Ji-yu began to concentrate electric charges around her. Shin-kun said it's all because of the experience of using and recycling energy. Every time, her special genes are filled and then improved. The student reference materials state that the academy bears all the costs for the student's practicum. The assistant told the director that they had some kind of electrical problem. Everything was out of order. Elder stated that his lights were out as well. The girl said she needed instructions for further action. The principal stated for her to calm down. Their academy was able to get themselves a real genius. This girl was probably practicing right now. Nothing to worry about. However, the speed of her practicing greatly exceeded his expectations. She is more talented than he thought. The aide said their energy bills would skyrocket, more expensive than mining cryptocurrency. The director said that even if it costs him hundreds of millions, it doesn't matter. After all, her talent is priceless. Besides, if the price is more than reasonable, the Clearance Bureau will surely compensate for it. By the way, this particular phone line is specifically for communication with the Sweep Bureau. Director Ching Ji picked up the phone and contacted the Clearance Bureau. The principal was told that the entire city had been de-energized, with all the electricity concentrated in the academy. Ching Ji explained that their new student was practicing, and added that regarding the compensation, he would write a statement later. Manhwa Academy is located in the city of Qingchen. In this city, there is a special zone washed by a river. The special zone is located near the city center and is an island. It is the third largest city in the country. The city is a prosperous city, so it consumes a huge amount of kilowatts of electricity. Now there is a blackout in the central part of the city. All the electricity rushed into the body of a young girl. All the power plants are up. The power of her consumption is equivalent to that of a 4-star transcendent. This girl had awakened her power just recently. Does her body hold such terrifying energy? The director said, the more special genes in an organism, the purer they are. The purer they are, the stronger they are. They're like natural energy stores, so there's nothing surprising about it. The more energy it consumes, the more chances for some changes in it, the less problems with breakthrough in the future. That's why the best minds around the world want so badly to unravel the mystery of special genes. They want to use these genes to push the limits of their own abilities, which seems both possible and unfathomable at the same time. The principal found out how much her practice would cost them, and even choked up. But he said it was fine. The principal told the assistant that this student was the only one in the class who would have no problem breaking through to 1 star. If she suddenly fails, it's really not worth wasting time. She would have to find someone who could help her. The assistant said that this girl came to see the principal. Ji-yu came to the principal's office with her companion, Xing-kun. The girl thanked the elder for his support. After practicing today, she was stunned at how much energy she was consuming and the losses the academy was incurring because of her. The headmaster replied that nurturing talents was their responsibility and asked if she had managed to break through to 1 star. Ji-yu said she hadn't gotten it yet. The principal grabbed his head and said that in that case, he would teach her how to control her electricity consumption. Ji-yu noticed that she had already reached 2 stars. The principal was horribly surprised. The elder even jumped up from his seat, for he estimated that it would take at least 2 weeks to achieve such a result. In that case, he saw no flaws in her, but it would still take time to learn how her genes worked. The headmaster waved his hand, and branches appeared out of nowhere and reached for the girl. Ji-yu was surprised. Where did these branches come from? However, she didn't feel any movement, so there was no danger. Nevertheless, the branches were indeed frightening. The director said that he understood everything. Her special genes are extremely active. That's what speeds up the processing of the elements. Usually, special genes are activated on 2 occasions, when fighting monsters or when emotionally disturbed. Ji-yu stated to the principal that she is really very emotional. Sang-kyun smiled and added that this girl was actually heartless. In any case, they came here to thank the principal. They are now practicing and want to achieve 3 stars. The elder said that 3 stars was the standard for graduating from the academy. Do they really want to graduate from the academy after barely entering the academy? The principal added that Ji-yu could do that. The academy has a special training plan ready for her. The 3 stars allow one to use special genes to build a star map, such as the Scarlet Flame Hand of the Fan family. After forming a star card, the disciple is able to use more powerful elements of his element to attack. However, the young man's genes are flawed. There are too few of them to form a star map. Sang-kun wondered, didn't the academy have a way to help him deal with this? He knew that there was a special technology at the academy, but it would be possible to master it later. It couldn't prevent the apocalypse, but it could help him reach 2 stars. The headmaster wondered, how did the young man know about it? Although, if he follows the news, of course he knows about it. Research on this topic shows good results, but news of it was quickly deleted. It's not that he wanted to hide everything from the public. It's just that the technology is still raw. In time, machines will indeed be able to replace genes, but this development will be effective only for those who have less than 40% of special genes. The technology is very energy-consuming. To give ordinary people more power, you need a huge amount of special serum that increases internal energy. Sang-kun said that in such a case he is suitable. Finding the serum is not a problem. After all, there are very responsive guys studying with them. The headmaster was surprised. Was the young man really saying that he was willing to steal from his comrades? Xing-kun said that the elder had misunderstood him. The price of this technology is not much lower than your energy bills. Xing-Kyun said that there is nothing to be done in that case, and they leave. Ji-Yu, leaving the principal's office, said that she can no longer store energy in her body. It needs to be released, for example, tonight. Xing-Kun told the girl that they need to put in their best effort. The principal told them to stop. The elder stated that he was giving this guy a chance and asked if he had a team. The academy will be starting the selection events soon. If his team wins, he will donate one of the prototypes the academy received from the cleanup bureau. Xing-Chun thanked the director and said that his team would definitely be the strongest. The director reminded them that there were only 3 days left until the end of the application process. The young people said goodbye to the elder. The assistant told the principal that these young people would definitely not take first place. It's a biennial competition, and it's a competition for the strongest of the strong. These are just freshmen. Even with this girl's talent, they can't win. Besides, the other 2 members of his team still haven't awakened. The director took a deep breath and remarked that it was hard to talk about that right now. The principal added, "For some reason, Fan Jiangwei wanted to prevent this young man from entering the academy, even though he only had 1% special genes." The assistant noticed that the principal allowed this young man to participate in the final test, but no one ever figured out how he got there. The principal noted that this boy passed the test. The elder said it's not about special genes. He found something abnormal in his school tests. This guy has a secret of his own. The researcher's years of experience suggest it's not that simple. The secretary asked, "Isn't the director studying monster genes?" After all, that's what he always wanted to do. "Isn't he also studying special genes?" The old man said he was given an impossible task. It would be strange if he did it. Now they had to get down to business. The electricity bill would be their main reason for working overtime. A phone call rang. The caller wondered, what was the reason for such a late call? The director said hello and said it was Chin Che calling the security bureau. Elder asked that the electric bill be cancelled, or he would just die on the job. The next day had come, and at Nanyu Academy, Blue Flame would guarantee 90% success this year. All the freshmen must be interviewed and find the Blue Flame, who extracted the information from the Fang family's lab. The principal of the academy had a visitor. The man said that their alma mater was more prosperous than ever. The elder asked how long it had been since his last visit. "Is this Lin Chi's first time here since graduation?" The man smiled and said he was ready to get right down to business. The director replied that he was listening attentively. The visitor stated that they were not only here as judges for the academy competition, they were tasked with finding the Blue Flame. The old man was surprised. Did the bureau really think that Blue Flame was in the academy? The man said to his companion, Lin Chi, to tell everything in detail. Lin Chi rose from his seat and said in a cursive voice that just before midnight on June 25th, he had encountered the Blue Flame while destroying monsters in the mall. Something happened, he was bitten, but then a monster appeared from somewhere and helped him. But then, for some reason, that monster knocked him out. Lin Chi added that when it started, the monsters were destroyed. He thought he saw that monster absorbing their power. It was too dark, so he couldn't see his face, but he could tell from his voice that he was young. The captain came to the conclusion that this person was a teenager who had suddenly awakened his powers, but had fallen under the influence of the monstrous monsters because of his immature mind. The man said they wouldn't be in such a hurry if that was all it was about. Recently, this monster has become more active. Just yesterday, the Fan family reported that the monster attacked one of their labs. It stole a supply of special liquid and killed all the staff. This monster is getting more and more dangerous. You need to hurry up and stop him. Given his age and the fact that he appeared in the city where the academy is located, he may well be among the new students. Lin Chi said that if this monster fell into his hands, he would destroy it with his own hands. The principal said that judging from the statements, this young man is sure that the monster is in the academy. Lin Chi noticed that after the monster knocked him out, he felt a special connection between them. It's kind of like a resonating signal from the bump on his forehead he got because of that monster. He certainly can't be wrong. Lin Chi stated that as soon as he stepped on the threshold of the academy, he realized that Blue Flame was here. He felt that the bond had become stronger. The man said they needed to apprehend this monster. That's why the bureau stepped in. All new students must be scrutinized. The principal said the students are going through basic training now, so it's the perfect time for these types of inspections. This academy has many courses and areas for training. If guests encounter difficulties, they just need to ask the teachers for help. The teacher said that there was a special device to pump all 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Thanks to this device, the special genes would become much more active. For those who have awakened with this device, progress will accelerate. For those who have not yet awakened, it can help them to do so. This opportunity should be valued. Next time, everything the students do on the battlefield will be evaluated. Now everyone can find a suitable sparring partner. The best way to awaken genes is to spar. The teacher told Shin-kun and Ji-yu to come over to him. One of the students told the members of our hero's team that their leader had left. Would they like to practice? Zhao Shen said that his sparring partner would be Xiao Tao, because these guys are very frail and can be inadvertently mauled. The apprentice said that these young men have a lot of nerve. Even in such a critical situation, they are trying to save face. But we will have to teach them a lesson in a friendly fight. The teacher told our heroes that the principal had agreed to their proposal to participate in this absurd mission. And now he must help them. He is now the supervisor of their group. Why is he being punished like this? After all, these two don't even meet the minimum requirements for registration. The teacher added that the two of them should thank Shang Guankui. Without her, they wouldn't have even reached the minimum. They would have missed the registration. In her freshman year, Shangguan joined the sophomore team and defeated a 3-star opponent. It was after that the standards changed, so we should follow her example and join the sophomore class. After all, the low number of genes could make up for it. Shin-kun said that there was no need for that. They were fine with the existing team. The teacher was surprised, for this was a team with 3 losers, 2 unawakened and 1 1%er. Our hero felt a strange feeling. That guy he accidentally bit. Is he really here? Maybe they can sense each other. Our hero thought that he couldn't let that guy find him. We need to bury his special genes under the monster's genes. We need to block that connection. The teacher said that he knows that the principal gave the young man a card that can also be used with a low number of special genes. But his score is too low. There will be no use for this card. The teacher added that it would be impossible for the young man to use this technique. It would be like trying to make a part without a lathe. He only had a chance if he was able to copy his opponent's abilities. The teacher suggested that Ji-yu should be the captain of the group. The teacher suggested that the girl hit him with all her might. Ji-yu wondered if she could use her maximum. It might take a bit of time. The teacher was frightened, what was happening to her face, and said that the first blow should be in the air. The tenacious student said that even tigers sometimes have to kneel down. Shin-kun won't babysit these students forever. At this moment, Ji-yu began to release a huge amount of electrical energy. Everyone present was startled and ducked their heads and began to look at Ji-yu. The insolent youth approached Zhao Shen and said that they had been overreacting and offered their resources to him. Ji-yu asked the teacher if that was enough. The teacher thought that this girl is a true monster. Albeit with a slight slowdown, her energy emission has an incredible result. If she uses the principal's card, she will turn into a real nuclear power plant. Secretary Yang approached the teacher and said she wanted to distract him for a moment. Ji-yu asked, "What's going on? Is Shin-kun okay?" Shin-kun said that the mop-up bureau showed up here. Representatives of the sweep bureau asked for a moment of attention. The man asked the young man if he had found that monster. Lin Chi said that he was here, but the signal was missing for some reason. Lin Chi added that it didn't matter. He would smoke him out of here. The power of metal was activated, and everything around it began to turn into uncontrollable chaos. Events that took place 2 months before the current ones. Destroyed building. The young man saw Lin Chi and thought, was this really the one the captain had sent to support them? There was a report that the monster had been lured into this building. The population was safe. Lin Chi told the young man for the team to evacuate. The young man radioed his commander that a captain from another area had ordered an immediate evacuation of the building. Lin Chi said that it was necessary to hurry up. The young man shouted in fear that he had pulled down all the iron in the area here. Steel bars just ripped out of the building. How was that possible? It didn't seem to be the maximum of his strength. Did he really manage to max out his strength? He is no worse than the legendary master of the 10,000 swords. The 10,000 swords have returned. The next moment, this building collapsed. The commander, running out of the building, shouted, "Who blew it up?" The man shouted that he had purposely driven the monsters here to let the newcomers practice. Lin Chi walked up to the commander and said that he was a representative of the Special Division of the Sweep Bureau. The young man told the commander that he was Lin Chi, a 25th-year academy graduate, and had arrived at his disposal. At the current time, the commander reminded the young man that they were not in the habit of idling. If he destroyed this field, he would work for 20,000 years for compensation. Lin Chi added that there was more than enough metal here. Lin Chi activated the metal in the surroundings. The people present wondered, what was this guy up to? After all, there were metal swords looming over them right now. Does he really want to destroy everything here like monsters? Xing-kun thought that Lin Chi wanted to channel his metallic powers through him. Our hero decided that this guy could take a chance if he wanted to. His special genes are ready for battle. The monster's genes can be suppressed. However, how do you hide the special gene if this guy is here and watching? Apparently, it's inevitable. Even if Lin Chi realizes that he is the one with the gene, will he be able to prove that he is the one with the blue flame? Xing-kun told his companion not to be impulsive. She should believe him. He really needs it. Lin Chi said that he had found the blue flame. The metal arrows approached each of the students present, and all of them were frantically frightened. Why is this happening? Our hero decides it's time to use his acting skills. After all, to everyone, he is just a freshman who knows nothing. Lin Chi said that this guy was the one who attacked the Bureau's experts and destroyed the Fang family's lab. He arrests him on behalf of the Purification Bureau. One of the students thought that he had seen the news about the blue flame. Could Xing-kun be a blue flame? Doesn't it require the element of fire? Xing-kun agreed. After all, he had metal and not the element of fire. Our hero thought he could clearly sense the direction of these elements. He could even see their structure. Aren't they a little too easy to arrange? Xing-kun remembered teacher Fulan saying that he should try to read the opponent's elements and then just copy them. Our hero thought that all he had to do was to take this advice. For this, Xing-kun decided to use a bit of metal. Our hero decided to use a shout like Lin Chi and uttered, "Metal appear!" Xing-kun activated thousands of swords in the same manner. Fulan said that it was a technique that could be used with a small amount of strength. Xing-kun saw Lin Chi use it and learned it. But could one learn a technique just by looking at it? After all, he didn't even have star charts. He couldn't learn it in a second. The captain of the mopping up bureau told his ward that blue flame used the fire element, while Xing-kun's was metal. Lin Chi objected and said that his intuition had never failed him. Does one have to possess the element of fire to possess the element? Lin Chi added that with a little bit of skill, even metal could be used to produce fire. Lin Chi activated the super speed mode to make the metal arrows move around more intensely. Teacher Fulan saw the star flame. Did he really manage to master this technique? After graduating from the academy, Lin Chi became even stronger. Fulan thought that metal certainly gave rise to fire. Is Xing-kun really a blue flame? Was he just hiding his true strength all this time? Xing-kun realized that he could see a flaming sword above him. He decided that he wanted to do so as well. Lin Chi gave the command to destroy the blue flame. The elements raged. The metal arrows began circling even more intensely in the airspace. However, this was countered by water currents. But where did they come from? The captain of the sweep bureau thought it was a powerful water elemental. All the swords were broken in the blink of an eye. At the same time, all the students, including Xing-kun, remained unharmed. Xing-kun looked at Shangguan and said that he assumed that she was only here to judge the selection trials. The girl stated that Lin Chi also studied here and knows that the academy is being watched by her boss. She can punish Lin Chi for bullying the students. Shangguan said to Lin Chi to just perform his duties as a judge and site surveyor organized by the academy. There was no need to cause trouble. Lin Chi said that this guy is a blue flame, so Shangguan should get out of the way. The captain of the mopping up bureau said for Lin Chi to speak more politely to this girl. Shangguan got angry and said that she was about to teach this boy a lesson. Lin Chi got scared and said that in that case, he would go back to the headquarters. The captain thought his subordinate gave up very quickly this time. This was Shangguan's special skill. The dragon actually looked like it was alive. Had she made a breakthrough anytime soon? The captain thought that this girl could destroy his 3-star brother with a single slap. The supervisor told Lin Chi that it would be more prudent to go back to headquarters and discuss everything. Lin Chi stated that it would be necessary to apply for inspection. The dragon mouth that Shangguan had summoned approached the representatives of the clearing bureau. The academy director said that Shangguan must restrain her temper. Otherwise, not only her relationships with others would suffer, but also herself. Shangguan asked Lin Chi if it was indeed a blue flame. Why didn't he realize it before? The girl added that she was on duty on campus that night when the Fang family's lab was destroyed. No one left the academy. The captain grabbed his subordinate and told him he must have made a mistake. He's taking him away. Those present may begin preparations for selection. Xing-chun thanked the girl and said that the academy grounds were very large, and he thought it was quite problematic to keep track of everything. Shangguan, stretching, asked in surprise, "Did this guy really think she had time to do all this?" Shangguan approached our hero and said that based on her ability to see through people, she didn't think he was a bad person. Shangguan approached Ji Yu and said that she had been following her for a long time. Ji should break through to the 4 stars sooner, and they would get rid of all the scumbags in this world. Shangguan said that she was withdrawing and the disciples should study diligently. Zhao Shen said that all of this girl's former suitors were scoundrels. She has terrible taste in men. Ji Yu remarked that this wasn't entirely true. Sangjun wondered who Zhao Shen thought he was. He added that he would come to the dormitory tonight and give the guy the ultimate treatment. Fulan looked at Xingkun's team and thought that they couldn't be taken as a joke. Ji Yu is their dark horse. But they still can't win, although there's a chance that they will make it through the first round. Special selection. The registrar's office. Present said he had to give credit to his colleagues. This time, the team led by teacher Zhu is the favorite to win. The girl on his team is almost at the 4th level, although the other team members haven't reached that level. However, the principal personally asked Fu Lian to lead the freshman team. Teacher Zhu was surprised, but after all, they were officially forbidden to register. Fu Lian stopped by his group on campus and said the weather was great today. He suggested that they play. The disciple continued to recruit Zhao Shen and his sister into the team. He said that he was lucky because Master Fan had decided to recruit him and offered him incredible conditions. 1,000 vials of life essence a year was twice what Xingkun took from everyone combined. He and his sister will be able to take 2 vials a day. This is an enviable offer and an incredible opportunity. Guys like Zhao Shen wouldn't even dream of such a thing. He was lucky to meet the right person. The recruiter said that Master Fang has his own awakening technique. This is something Zhao Sheng really needs. Guy added that this opportunity is a real blessing. In 2 years, Zhao Shen has not been able to awaken. That's unfortunate. He doesn't think that he will be unlucky in the final trial this year as well, does he? With Mr. Fang's help, this guy and his sister will be able to awaken. The disciple said that Zhao Shen and his sister's fate was about to be rewritten. Zhao Shen told this guy to step aside. The recruiter wondered, why wouldn't Zhao Sheng be happy to be supported? Zhao Shen said that he was not interested in these proposals. The recruiter grabbed Zhao Shen's chest and said that Xing Kun was an enemy of the Fan family, and the consequences of this enmity were not hard to imagine. Zhao Shen could lose everything if he crosses the Fang family. He is just pathetic, depriving himself of his only opportunity to awaken. Zhao Shen said that Xing Kun is not as difficult as he is made out to be. If his opponent disagrees, he can fight him. Zhao Shen added, if he hits him decently even once, he will admit defeat. The disciple said that Zhao Shen is an obnoxious, stubborn person. No one can guarantee that nothing will happen to him while he sleeps. Zhao Shen said that his opponent had better not wake him up, because if he woke up, he would fight until his last breath. The recruiter said that Zhao Shen is really sick. In doing so, he punched the guy in the jaw with his fist and said he would give him similar surprises every day until he got tired of it. Zhao Shen said that without Xing Kun, he would have died long ago. So he would spend the rest of his life trying to repay his kindness. Zhao Shen said that he had business for today and was leaving, but they could settle the score later during the fight. The opponent said that Zhao Shen was just looking for an excuse to escape. In parting, the villain said that Zhao Shen and his sister would die. The young man reported to Mr. Fang that this loser was just one of Xing Chun's dogs. It's not easy to rub his company's trust. Fan said that he has many ways in store. He originally wanted to be softer, but now he is forced to act differently. Zhao Shen and his sister knocked on Xing Kun's door. The young men walked resolutely into the room to their commander. Xing Kun asked if the brother and sister were ready for the special infernal training. He received an affirmative answer. Xing Kun told the students to close their eyes to begin with. Xing Chun grabbed his nose and asked why Zhao Shen decided to take off his socks. Zhao Shen said that he wanted to make sure that he definitely wouldn't get a peek. Zhao Shen said for his sister to put a sock on her head. The girl was indignant after all. This is a biological attack. All conventions forbid it. Xing Kun said for the students to forget about the closed eyes. They would now move on to the more important part. It was necessary for both of them to trust him completely. Our hero added that they should also trust him with their lives. Zhao Shen said he had full confidence and wondered what his sister would say. Xiao Tao inquired, is Xing Kun really a blue flame? Our hero confessed. Zhao Shen wondered, how could his sister know about this? The girl replied, after all, the mopping up bureau had come for a reason. When Lin Qi called out Xing Kun's name, she looked at his reaction. The girl added that Xing Kun's reaction was exaggerated. Based on her previous observations, she realized that Xing Kun was faking it. Previously, she had never seen Xing Kun actually panic when something happens. Ji Yu behaved with restraint and delicacy, but it was probably also an act, as such behavior was not typical of her. Zhao Shen wondered, why is his sister so smart? Xiao Tao said that the family is doomed if both of her children are stupid. Xing Kun replied to the girl, He might be a blue flame, but you can't say he's a bad actor. Does she still believe that he is the villain who destroyed the Fang family's lab? Xiao Tao said as her brother said, if it wasn't for Xing Kun, they would have died long ago. Now she understands why the final trial was like this. Xing Kun is the target of the Fan family. The girl added that this only proves that Fan is evil. They must be doing something forbidden in their labs. The girl stated that in that case, she had no choice. Xiao Tao added that her brother had decided to follow Xing Kun and he would not back down. Xiao Tao said that even if their opponent was the Fan family, they would do anything to help him. It's time to start the special training. Our hero handed the liquid to the students and said that they should start by drinking 1 bottle per person. Zhao Shen grabbed the bottle of liquid and almost drank it all. Xing Kun said that this liquid was quickly digested. Xiao Tao wondered if it was the essence of life. Sign Kun said that he stole it from the Fang family's lab. It is of excellent quality. Zhao Shen was touched and asked how he could repay the kindness. Xiao Tao thought, why did Xing Kun ask them to entrust their lives to him? After all, if they drink a lot of essence, it will be hard for their body to handle that much. It is life-threatening. Why use such dangerous methods for awakening? Xiao Tao figured that Xing Kun might have learned about this method in the lab. Surely he would use something else on them. The reason why he doesn't let them look at everything is because of the reliability of this strange experimental device. Xing Kun said that it was time to close his eyes. Xiao Tao didn't have time to think about it before she received a brush strike on the back of her head and was deactivated. Zhao Shen and Xiao Tao lost consciousness and fell to the floor. This way, there was no reason to worry about them peeking. It was much more efficient and practical than some guesswork. About the monster genes, our hero couldn't tell these people yet. He can stimulate their special genes while they are unconscious. Xing Kun laughed and modified his left arm. Huge monster-like outgrowths grew out of it. These outgrowths burrowed into the necks of the brother and sister. Our hero tried to stimulate the special genes, but they couldn't move. The number of special genes in them is not too high, so we need to be more aggressive. We need to try to insert the monster's genes into their DNA. Now they will feel this horror with every cell of their soul. Their special genes will begin to activate to protect themselves. Xiao Tao wondered, where is she? The girl didn't realize what kind of clothes she was wearing. Xiao Tao thought, why is this happening again? However, it wasn't like that, and he changed a lot. The child's toy had turned into a huge monster. The infernal training had begun. Lin Qi, while outside the dormitory, thought that something was wrong with him. A colleague approached the young man and told him that the captain had personally asked to follow him. Why did he come to the student dormitory? Lin Qi replied that Xing Kun's room had a special and unfamiliar atmosphere. Lin Qi said that this guy is definitely a blue flame. We need to find out about all his trump cards before the special examination begins. A coworker received a text message on his phone from the office. Is something wrong? The guy reading the message said the North District Supply Depot was under attack. All teams in the vicinity are rushing there. Upon arrival, the young man reported that most of the building had been destroyed. There was a strong smell of blood at the scene, and no survivors were observed. Judging from the footprints, it was a monster attack, but there were no monsters here. The specialist reported that their special team has started an investigation. They hope to find survivors. There was a report that a large monster had been detected nearby. The specialist reported that they would definitely be able to fend for themselves, although no monster was found nearby. Guy said not to underestimate his exceptional hearing. Just then he reported hearing some sort of eerie noise. Could the monster have heard them and is coming back here? It's moving too fast. The squad leader said to get ready, it's a dragon. The squad leader was surprised. After all, he could hear the monster only a few dozen meters away, so why can't they see anything? Suddenly there was a burst of energy. Flying crystals of metallic ore appeared in the atmosphere. What's happening? There was no response to the base. A huge monster footprint was left on the ground, where the crushed headphones of the special squad commander lay. Some of the squad members were seriously injured. Xiaolan was out of contact. The squad leader told his subordinates that it was probably an invisible monster. You need to release ceiling dragons in all directions and think of your safety first. A coworker said she couldn't block it. It's an invisible monster, at least stage 4. It is Mercury's dragon, an erupting trap with blood as a sacrifice. The squad leader said it could be a blood prison cage. May shouldn't do that. They need to hold out a little longer. HQ has already sent out a notice to all nearby fighters. Support will arrive soon. The staff member reported to Captain Song that her blood prison cage wouldn't last long. This monster can become invisible, and it's only at stage 4. It's too dangerous. May added that they may not be able to hold out while others come to their aid. And even if they do manage, it could be a sentence for them. she could not hold back for long. May added that if they used the blood prison cage together, there would be a chance to save the captain. He had always protected them. It was time to take care of him. May tells the captain to hold still and surrender. He can't resist their whims when they unite. Captain Song told the girl to stop, because he was in command here. May said that it was because he was the captain that he had to stay alive, or there would be no one else to command. The captain said for May to inform HQ about this monster. Experts should be called. We can't let our colleagues die in vain. Sun thought if he was stronger, he could protect his team. He should find a safe place and quickly inform headquarters. The commander wondered why the same sounds were heard everywhere at the same distance. Is there not just one invisible monster here, but more of them? Could it be that they are lagging behind because of the speed that is no longer the same? Where are these monsters coming from? Too many resources have been donated to this mission. Captain Song thought that there was too little time left and there was no way to find a safe place. It was urgent to relay the alarming information to headquarters. However, the phone could not connect to the mobile network. The captain thought that the elemental energy in the air is too strong. It even affects the signal. One must run further away before being spotted. Captain Song ran off to the side and peered at his phone. He needed to catch the mobile network. The young man rejoiced when he saw that the connection had been made. Captain Song, after contacting headquarters, said not to send anyone below 4 stars. There are at least 3 invisible monsters here, all suspected to be at stage 4 or higher. The squad leader said the message had been sent. Now he could give his best, even if he died. He sensed the chance of the elemental genes awakening and life being born. With the information sent to headquarters, the fastest to arrive would be none other than Shangguan Kui. Shangguan arrived at the place and apologized for being late. Xing said that it was necessary to be cautious. The monsters were very sneaky and cunning. Shangguan Kui said that the monsters escaped. The reason for their attack was just because they wanted a snack. They are afraid of wasting time and revealing their whereabouts, so they ignored her. Be that as it may, these terrifying monsters must have other targets. Sangchun in the form of a monster thought that after adapting to the special power, people began to think that they had seized control over the monsters, believing that they dominated the world. Unfortunately, the special people wouldn't have time to evolve. If a year later a sudden calamity struck them, they would be helpless. Sangchun decided to motivate Zhaoshen and Xiaotao just a little bit. Jieyu, watching this, thought that she looked very creepy. The girl told Xingxun not to eat those people. Xingkun told Jiyu not to worry. If he didn't hold back, she would be the first one he would eat, because she was much tastier. Our hero finished the necessary processes, and said that for those with few special genes, this extreme activation method is the most suitable. Jieyu said that Xiaotao's reaction is quite normal, typical of those who are afraid. But Zhao Shen's condition is a bit strange. The internal misunderstanding is probably causing this guy to be angry. Zhao Shen kept repeating one word through his sleep. Destroy. Zhao Shen suddenly lifted his head, opened his eyes and shouted that he will destroy this rascal. After the brother and sister woke up, our hero congratulated them on their awakening. Zhao Shen knelt down and said that Big Brother's immense kindness would never be forgotten. He was willing to stand as a true shield for Xing Kun. Xing Chun said that this young man has a long way to go. He should work on himself and improve. Otherwise, we'll have to inject something into his body that will drive his special genes into a frenzy, and he'll be put into insane survival mode. Xiaotou clarified, in that case, will the special genes activate to a higher degree? Xing Kun nodded affirmatively. Xing Kun reminded that there was 1 week left before the selection for the supernova. Within this week, the brother and sister should reach the threshold of 3-star improvement. With the current state of their special genes, reaching the 2-star mark would not be difficult. Zhao Shen told his sister that he could not believe that this was not a dream. Had they really awakened? Zhao Shen stated that he could feel the special genes in his body going crazy. Their elder brother is both sentimental and righteous, in addition to being terrifyingly strong. Xiaotao wondered, did Xing Kun really mention the selection for the supernova? Does he really want them to participate in it? Zhao Shen said, they should do what Big Brother asked. Now they have all the things they need to participate in the program. Xiaotao said, although her brother is reserved, but even though he is weak in terms of studies, he beat up almost all of his classmates. A week later, a colleague asked a student where he got the liquid of life. The disciple said that he stole this liquid from Zhao Shen's old worn-out shoes. The colleague asked if he was afraid of being beaten up because of it. The disciple said that he was not afraid of it. Zhao Shen must have gotten these vials by licking his master's boots. However, his boss is from the Fan family. They are on different levels. The guy emptied another bottle and said that Zhao Shen is a useless coward. After he was beaten up last time, now he doesn't even return to the dormitory. No one knows where he is now. Even if Zhao Shen starts to act, his boss Gu, young Master Fan will have no trouble controlling this helpless little wench in the future. Zhao Shen hasn't even awakened yet. The next time they meet, he will be beaten up again. Wu Ying said, "Don't underestimate Zhao Shen." The disciple asked, did Wu Ying really regret betraying Gu after seeing Zhao Shen obtain so much life liquid? Then we'll have to talk some sense into him. Wu Yin said that it was necessary to check the campus network, because they have the supernova qualifying round today. The student said he knew it was an important event. The school has so many cameras installed. Anyone can watch what is going on through the campus network. He planned to go to the auditorium to watch everything from the big screen. The young men noticed that the tournament had started. The hostess is very good. She was the captain of the winning team last semester. The new host is a popular wind element fighter, an internet sensation with millions of followers, known for broadcasting in the air. The girl said she's going to introduce the most arrogant team, and also introduce the top 3 for now. Team number 23, Crimson Flame. The members of this team are all fire elemental fighters. They are all rank 3. Their star card evolution has reached 50%. This is the team with the highest evolution. Young Master Fan is on this team. According to the verified sources, the captain of the strongest team had changed, and now it was the longest-awaited freshman Fang Shizai. His rank has already reached 3 stars, and he has 90% special genes. He is a teenage prodigy with a promising future. The presenter said they will be looking forward to his performance. The next team is made up entirely of female warriors, the Root Destroyers. Captain Zhang Yin is currently recognized as the strongest female student in the school, possessing 85% of special genes. She is an elder sister who possesses the star card of myriad swords with the element of water. She ripped the pants of Shen Yu, the former captain of the Crimson Flame team, with one punch. The host said that now there will be a little treat for the fangirls. Captain Xiao with a stunning figure. His shield and sword team with the strongest sword and the strongest shield. Their fans say they are the top contenders for the championship in this competition. The host has officially announced the start of the first round. The venue is this forest. If the team captain loses the ability to fight, the team will be disqualified. The strongest 6 teams will advance to the next round. The young men were discussing the opening of the tournament. How tough will those who are called the most arrogant be? How exactly will this team perform? Wu Yin said the most arrogant was named the freshman team with 4 members. This is enough to compete for victory with the 2nd and 3rd year students. That's why the host, the Flying Rabbit, called them the most arrogant little dogs. The disciple wondered, are these freshmen really Xingkun's team? How was this possible? How were they able to qualify? Wu Yin explained that Gu possesses 95% of special genes. This explains everything. That's why she is the captain of the team. The disciple was surprised, after all the team members should be awakened. Did Zhao Shen and his sister really do this? The most indignant disciple couldn't understand how Zhao Shen was able to awaken so suddenly. Zhao Shen has really low gene content, and he interrupted his studies for 2 years. Zhao Shen not only studies evolution, but also diligently studies every course as if his life depended on it. Wu Yin added that all the students from last year when they saw Zhao Shen, nicknamed him Zhao's brother. The captain of the Dark Horse Shooting Star greeted Zhao Shen and Xiao Tao. He never thought that he would see them again at the supernova selection. The captain asked, because Zhao Shen still remembered the day he left school, right? The disciple recalled that they had all been beaten up that day by that guy, Zhao Shen. However, now they all met here together. Every team in the 24th batch, if not with 3rd year players, is now headed here. The young man added that if Zhao Shen and Xiao Tiao were participating, it meant that they had awakened. Their team even took such an arrogant name for themselves. After careful deliberation, all present agreed to settle the score by beating. One-on-one fights, because that's fair. Xing Chun walked up to Zhao Shen and said that it was a great job. He didn't expect the guy to cause even more hatred. Xing Chun asked his opponent, is this really all that he could muster? There seems to be something missing. Teacher Zhu asked his colleague Fu Lian, do you really want the freshman team to make it past the first round by going against everyone? Zhu added that by the 2nd year, 6 teams totaling 60 people were fully formed. Zhu said he was willing to bet 100 vials of the liquid of life that the freshmen wouldn't make it. Fu Lian tried to change the bet in the course of the dispute. As a result, they agreed on 300 vials. Teacher Zhu said that there might be unpredictable consequences for Fu Lian now. Zhu inquired, what is the significance of your team name? In this apocalyptic world, it is not common to talk about the end of the world. Fulian said that the team was called Doomsday Starlight. The student wondered what the name of the team was. Do they really think the world will end soon and they will be the saviors? That's pretty arrogant. But that's no reason to call them arrogant little dogs like the rabbit bunny did. Shin-kun said, Starlight ignites the flames. Our hero couldn't save the world alone. Before the apocalypse comes, he has to let the sparks around him heat up. That's why he needs to add some fuel to the Starlight. Shin-kun replied to his opponent that he didn't mind individual battles. The seniors wondered if this guy was overestimating himself. Sang-chun noticed that these seniors would only have a chance if they fought together. The senior student was angry, because in front of him is just a freshman who is an arrogant rascal. However, the disgruntled youth was startled when he saw Zhao Shen heading towards him. Zhao Shen told his opponents to stop talking too much, because Big Brother had said that they could attack all together. There was nothing to procrastinate. He even wondered how these guys had changed in the few years they hadn't seen each other. Zhao Shen sent this guy into a knockdown and said that the opponents should gather themselves. Now they are not the same as before. Now you can use your superpowers against him. Fulin said that the bets have been made and no one will cancel the dispute. Ju and everyone present looking at the screen couldn't figure out who this guy even was. Fulian, calculating the profits, said that the dear colleagues were a bit fixated on superpowers. If any of them understood anything about martial arts, they wouldn't have gotten into this argument. Zhao Shen only had 39% super genes, yet he was incredibly hardworking. He went back to the academy and started studying again. In terms of genes, his performance is below average, but in the eyes of most martial artists, this guy is a true genius and prodigy. All of the current second-year students had been taught by him in the past. He could be half equated to a teacher. He was once a very popular person. Last time, before he left, he decided to teach the students his last lesson. On that day, everyone except those who had completely given up martial arts lay beaten on the ground. Teacher Ju said, no matter what a martial art is, it will remain only the physical strength of the body. There is no comparison with superpowers. It's like comparing an egg to a rock, which will be stronger. Fulian noticed that Zhao Shen and his sister had awakened. Ju said that waking up after 2 years only emphasized his mediocrity. Fulian suggested raising the stakes in such a case. Teacher Ju was surprised. Is Fulian still confident that the freshmen will be able to break through the sophomores? As they say, calm times give birth to weak people. This is true of their students as well. All but a few geniuses are ordinary hothouse flowers. They are only fit to be fuel for the geniuses, the strong devouring the weak. The defeated youth bowed and said that he had actually come here to welcome Zhao Shen back to the academy. He also wanted to get to know the person he called Big Brother better. The disciples said that they were now convinced that Zhao Shen had blindly followed the egoist. He is just using Zhao Shen for his own purposes. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. After all, he's just a freshman. Would he throw around words like that if Brother Zhao wasn't around? He's just picking a fight, and if that's what he wants, they'll grant him his wish. The young man said that they intended to defeat Shin-kun today, and after that, Zhao Shen would lead them again. The aggressive disciple said that he would personally crush this first-year student with his strength and force him to show his true colors. Zhao Shen said for Ma Xiaolong to come to his senses and not do stupid things. Brother Shin-kun is more powerful and stronger than him. However, everyone present saw Xiaolong being attacked and collapsing to the ground after losing consciousness. The disciples shouted as the second-year captain was defeated. Ma Xiaolong lost consciousness. Dark horses made their move. A senior disciple appeared and said that the second-year students were very cute. The apprentice said there was a lot of useless trash gathered in one place. He liked the way the second-year captain collapsed from one of his blows. Next, Captain Jia Xiaozhan was attacked, and the high-flight team is eliminated from the game. The participants were surprised that it happened very quickly. They didn't even have time to do anything. This is the strength of the team of third-year students who started going on missions. Flying Rabbit, commenting on the situation, said that the second-year girls were defeated by a third actor. Chen Xia from the fourth year did it. He's skillful at manipulating the wind, and he's also very fast. Captain Luo Yin is defeated and the monthly coupons team is eliminated. Captain Rong Yuzhu is defeated and the collectors team is eliminated. Captain Shan Yue is defeated. The Planet Parade team must leave the arena. Chen Xia said, it was the turn of the first-timers. He really likes to push such newcomers. The sophomore told Brother Zhao to take care of the captain they chose. The host, the Flying Rabbit, said it was the classmate team, the Doomsday Starlight. Or, as she was nicknamed, the most arrogant team ever. Chen Xia approached our hero and intended to grab his head. Xingqun pushed Chensha away with a slight movement of his hand and changed his trajectory. Chensha was surprised. This guy was able to dodge while still managing to infuse the ground with his super strength. Chensha was attacked by a metal arrow. Chensha couldn't anticipate such an attack and flew off to the side after receiving a strong blow. Everyone noticed that Chensha had failed to overpower the first-year captain. The host pointed out that Chensha himself appeared defeated. Xingqun said that he came here as an observer, and it would be his team members who would be practicing. The sophomore can come down from the tree, he is just right for warming up. The presenter stated that the first-year player was indeed quite arrogant. He decided to spur one of the 3 favorites of the tournament, the Sand and Wind team. The sophomore said that this was too much honor for a freshman. The injured sophomore said that Zhao Shen didn't choose this guy for nothing, he was incredibly strong. The sophomore in the tree said that it was necessary to show the opponents their power and throw them out as soon as possible. The main motto of the Sand and Wind team is to attack unexpectedly and attack with the whole group. Xingqun said that these punching bags could have started attacking a long time ago. However, the attackers thought that this first-timer was not as simple as he seemed. He had even managed to overpower Chen Xia. However, one must admit that Xingqun is very good. He is quite skillful with the sword. From the looks of it, this guy has some combat experience. But for a moment, it even seemed that his experience was greater than that of the third-year students. Is it really about talent? However, Zhao Shun intercepted Luo Ying's hand and said that according to Xingqun's instructions, it would be him, not his commander, who would fight the attackers. Luo Yin said that he remembered Zhao Shen from when he played teacher last year. Does he really think he can win now? Zhao Shen did not let go of his opponent's hand and activated the water dragon. The attack was unexpected and pressing. Luo Yin didn't expect it, but he stayed on his feet. Luo Ying was surprised. After all, Zhao Shen only had 39% super genes. How dare he even dare to challenge him? He had been cultivating the water dragon star card since he was a child, which was now being used by the incomparable Shangguan Kui.
Zhao Shen said that the strength of his water dragon was not measured by size or length.
Luo Yin remarked that he was about to demonstrate the difference in their capabilities. The opponents, releasing large amounts of their energies, simultaneously attacked. Luo Yin wondered. Had Zhao Shen really replaced the water dragon water element with his own blood? That is, he had allowed the super genes to affect his own blood? So now the water dragon that was supposed to form outside is now lurking inside his body? Zhao Shen is truly insane. However, he could only fight in melee combat now, and if his dragon got hurt, Zhao Shen himself would also get hurt. Zhao Shen replied that if one tried harder than the others, one could eventually overcome one's shortcomings and surpass everyone. Zhao Shen agreed that he had a mediocre talent. However, he had no intention of being discouraged. The young man activated the taming of the dragon. Her rival said that she had checked the list of awakened first-year students. Xiao Tao's name wasn't there, which meant that she still hadn't been able to awaken by the time she entered the academy. It had only been 2 weeks since the class had started, and Xiao Tao had not only awakened, but had also reached the rank of 3 stars. That's just an incredible result considering she had just started studying her star chart. How did she manage to do that? Xiao Tao replied that she was easily affected by her emotions. Her opponent recognized that Xiao Tao was quite capable in training, but her super genes did not reach 50%. Because of this, she can only cultivate the Vine Star card. The opponent said that Xiao Tao would never be able to achieve more and climb to the top of the world. An attack was launched at Xiao Tao, with huge vines rapidly falling on her. The girl was able to dodge the attack. The opponent said that Xiao Tao had a very good reaction. Apparently, Xiao Tao has been working a lot on escape techniques lately. However, the rival was surprised. Where did this red peach blossom come from? After all, she had destroyed Xiao Tao's vines. Xiao Tao had just started studying the star map after all. She had only comprehended about 5% of its power. The roots of her vine had been destroyed, and should not have blossomed. Did Xiao Tao really infuse the flowers with her blood? Bloody peach blossoms. The opponent wondered, had Xiao Tao gone crazy? After all, she didn't have a limitless supply of blood. Xiao Tao said that her brother was right. In order to learn to fly, one must fight, putting their life on the line. The sophomore told our hero that this guy had defeated Chen Xia. So why did he hide behind the girl now? He must have won this victory by pure chance? The opponent told Xingqun to stop hiding and come out. He is giving one last chance to become a real man. Xingqun replied that he found it funny to hear about dignity, especially from someone like this guy. Xingqun attacked the girl who was trying to sneak up on him from behind. His opponent wondered how he had managed to notice her without even turning around. The opponent began to wonder if the freshman in front of him was a freshman. This guy is definitely not one of those hothouse flowers. He had more combat experience than everyone here, and such reflexes couldn't be trained without endangering his life. The striker wondered, why is this guy so calm? It was as if he was using this tournament to train his comrades. Shin-kun asked Ji-yu if she was ready. Sing-gun told Chiko to activate her star card in that case. The sophomore wondered, where have you ever seen a star card activated? The young man realized indeed such maps do exist. They are perfect star charts, which until recently existed only on paper. Only one foreign superhuman with 93% super genes of the water element managed to realize it. This star card forms a field of its own around the wearer. But that's impossible for freshmen. The boy remembered again that there was a girl with 95% super genes among the freshmen. Could it be her? Ji-yu closed her eyes and activated her star card. It was a grand magnetar. All present were excited and frightened by what they saw. Ji-yu was a 3-star rank holder and had a star card of Magnator. It looked like it was just an area of lightning that automatically attacked opponents. At first glance, there was nothing special about it, but it was still amazing that Ji-yu was able to achieve such a result the first time. The opponent said that in any case, Ji-yu was only in her first year of training. A newly awakened 3-star rank girl, and that was it. The opponent activated the 44% star card Icebird, Feathers of Ice. The attacker thought that this was just a passive defense. Even if Ji-yu could stop most of her feathers, it wouldn't make a difference. The attacker assumed that some of the feathers would still be missed and reach the target. Did she really stop it? The opponent claimed she had another technique and attacked Ji-yu with her Ice Beak. However, the Ice Beak was also easily repelled. Just how much energy is contained in this area? It's just crazy. The opponent didn't understand after all. Ji-yu had only been cultivating for 2 weeks. Why is there so much energy in her super genes? Now it was clear what the difference between a true genius and ordinary people was. Ji-yu rushed to our hero and said she needed help. She seems to be stuck. A powerful lightning bolt flew in close proximity to our hero. Ji-yu apologized and said that it happened by accident. Shin-kun said that Ji-yu better figure out the capabilities of the Magnetar soon. Sing-kun stated that he would give Ji-yu a chance to deal with her new strength. Right now, we need to deal with these two. They will go as a light warm-up. Don't forget to knock out their captain. This team had already put down 6 captains. It was necessary to take away all of their rewards. A student approached the captain and asked how to break through the defenses of these freshmen. The girl replied that there was no way. The only thing that matters in this tournament is the defeat of the captain. There's no point in splurging on that girl with the incredible star card. We just need to knock out their captain as planned in the beginning. The opponents decided to attack Shin-kun as a duo, aiming to deal with him as soon as possible. Sang-jun told the attackers that if they chose him, they would fly out even faster. The attacker said this guy couldn't fool him. Many pyrogods suffer from excessive arrogance and self-confidence like this one. The sand vortex was used against our hero. The next attack was Ice Feathers. The opponent said that Shin-kun must not have learned anything from the academy yet. He should take even opponents weaker than him seriously. That's why he's going to lose today. He should measure his arrogance. However, Shin-kun survived and even attacked his opponent. The young man did not understand how this freshman was able to survive in the center of their whirlwind. Sang-jun grabbed his opponent's head and asked if he was tired of asking stupid questions. After all, he had warned that it wasn't him, but his team members who would be fighting. Sang-jun pushed his opponent far back and said that this guy should prove to be a useful punching bag. The terrified disciple thought, where did this guy get such unimaginable strength? The attacker, having lost his balance, flew backwards but thought it was impossible. Now he would just get to his feet and immediately fight back. The opponent saw Ji-yu approaching him, constantly cursing. What was wrong with these first years? Teacher Ju thought that there was clearly something wrong with this Shin-kun. His strength definitely can't be had by someone who just entered the academy. He only has 1% super genes. A more thorough investigation should be made regarding his background. Teacher Ju and the others looked at Fu Lian intently. Is he really hiding something? Fu Lan was surprised. Principal Ching didn't say anything about it. Ordinary teachers can't challenge his decisions and go behind his back. Or is it that Ju wants to talk to Vice Rector Fan about it? Everyone present was informed that monsters had appeared in Qingchu City and a yellow alert had been issued. All liquidators of rank 3-star and above need to urgently provide support. The secretary asked Rector Ching what they should do about the tournament. Should they suspend it? The rector said that headquarters had ordered them not to do that. With the exception of a few incidents, the situation is under control. There are not many participants left who have reached 3 stars and above. The available forces will be quite enough to finish the tournament as normal. Supernova is designed, among other things, to accelerate the progress of students. They do not have to avoid difficulties now. Someone reported that a student of Nanyu Academy, ranked 4th on the strongest list, was able to drive the invisible monsters deep into the tunnel. Later, a huge number of high-ranked monsters rushed here, trying to rescue the invisible ones. The commander said that if it wasn't for the 4th star's awakening process, he might have joined the operation sooner. He asked the assistant how many invisible monsters were in the tunnel now. The aide replied that there were about 3. Captain Sun said that he could hear many more monsters. The commander rushed into the tunnel and said that there were 4 monsters here. Caution was necessary. The invisible monsters could probably summon more creatures here. As he approached the epicenter, Sun thought he could only hear 1 monster. Captain Sun walked up to Shangguan Kui and asked, "Did she really manage to get rid of 3 monsters at once?" Shangguan was surprised. Has Song Yin gone completely deaf? She can't handle 1 monster, and he's talking about 3. The other 2 disappeared as soon as she chased them inside the tunnel. There's only 1 left. Song Yin said that he clearly heard that there were 4 monsters. However, when he went into the tunnel, they suddenly disappeared. If Shangguan didn't destroy them, what were they trying to accomplish? The young men heard voices coming from deep within the cave. The voices asked for Shangguan to help them. They should take advantage of the other 2 monsters' absence and finish him off. Time was running out. The monster is comparable to an underground dragon in terms of strength, but its main advantage is invisibility. However, it doesn't regenerate, so there are chances to destroy it. Shangguan Kui said to Sun Yin to use his strength and find the 3 remaining monsters. They shouldn't sneak up here unnoticed. Sung Yin stepped into the middle of the tunnel, activated his star card, and applied the power of the elements. Propagation was applied. Any sound, even a faint one, was monitored throughout the tunnel. It was necessary to listen to everything in the neighborhood. Shangguan and the others engaged in a fierce battle with the invisible monster. Rank 2 and 3 monsters have started to gather outside. Even monsters of unknown rank are present. They are probably modified local animals. A little further away, the reinforcements of the humans have settled down. Sung Yin thought to find the 3 hidden invisible monsters. Sung Yin closed his eyes and scanned the entire nearby space, trying to pick up new sounds. The young man suddenly sat down on his knees. How did this happen? Captain Sun announced that the 3 monsters were not around. Where could they have gone? In Nanhua Academy, Zhao Shen's disciple continued to resist the attackers. How did this guy have so much stamina? After all, he must have lost a huge amount of blood already. At the same time, he had taken a series of powerful attacks and was still on his feet. The opponent thought that his victory was already predetermined. It was only a matter of time. However, Zhao Shen's super gen power had become higher compared to the level it was at the beginning of the battle. What's going on? After all, these brother and sister are just ordinary garbage with a low percentage of super genes. Why are they progressing so fast? The attackers thought, could these 2, if they kept this up, be able to beat them, superhumans with unrivaled talent? The attackers didn't realize what was happening. Half an hour had already passed, and she was still going strong, just like a real powerhouse. Was the power of electricity in her body boundless? Jiyu decided that she had figured it out and now understood what the magnetic field was all about. The attackers still thought some freshman girl couldn't scare them. Jiyu felt more confident and activated attraction, electromagnetism. After that, initial speed and acceleration were activated. Jiyu thought that she could now move through space quite effectively. The girl went on her own to attack the opponents. The opponents were startled when they saw Jiyu flying at them like a cannonball. Jiyu stopped and initiated the release of lightning. But nothing happened. Did the power run out? Jiyu felt that there was still enough energy inside her body, but it was only enough to support the magnetar. In this state, there was no way to release the lightning bolt. The opponent laughed. This girl had run out of steam, now it was their turn. Sengkyun came up in time and said that this was where they would end up. He effectively attacked his opponent. The villains, fainting, said that a stealth attack had been organized on them. Sengjun told the unconscious opponent that he wouldn't be able to win even if the attack took place head-on. The host, the Flying Rabbit, said that the captain of the Sand and Wind team was defeated. The Doomsday Starlight team was the real dark horse of the Supernova. This team was one of the 6 remaining teams in the tournament. The host announced that the first stage of the Supernova had been successfully completed. Zhao Shen had succeeded after all. The frightened young man requested that Wu Ying warn Zhao Shen that his vials of life liquid would be returned in full. Fan Shizai was very angry with Xingchun. The tournament host said that it was time to start the second stage of the competition. This time, only one of the 6 teams would be the winner. This stage is designed to show students that their strength is not everything. Luck and wisdom are also important in the fight. Somewhere in the tournament location, there is a hidden reward for the winners. The team that finds the reward will be the winner of the supernova. The presenter added that participants can get a clue by defeating one of the liquidators. Ji-yu told her friend that they should try to take first place. That device that was promised as a reward would be extremely useful for development. However, she had practically run out of energy. Ji-yu added that it would take at least 1 day to restore the energy. She could absorb the city's electricity right now, but she would have to mess around with recycling the new energy. She would only be able to use the magnetor again in 2 hours. Sing-gun told Ji-yu not to worry about it. They had faithfully done their part of the work. He would take care of the rest. The team members wondered, did Fan Shizai really want to act alone? Fan said that it would be more efficient to split up. They go to get clues, and he will try his luck alone. Fan Shizai heard that he was not here alone. Half a day before, his uncle had told the young man that he must definitely win first place in the supernova tournament. He would make sure that the 6th generation of life essence created by their family would break the market. Fan Shizai thought that he would definitely become the new supernova of Nanyu Academy, and prove that he was the strongest superhuman of his generation. This would give their family the opportunity to continue to dominate the resource market. The uncle added that their family is going to take the first step to reach the top of this world. That step would be to conquer the academy. Their family will be able to gather quite a few superhumans under their wing. The flower of eternity should allow this process to accelerate. The day the flower unfurled its 4 leaves, this place was imbued with energy. Cultivating here was now more effective than any other place. After experiments, it was revealed that the super genes of the people in this room were developing like crazy. A month later, their family will acquire 100 4-star superhumans at once. The uncle said that his older brother, Shizai's father, would acquire the eternal flame that the young man had transformed and become the first 5-star superhuman in the country. Uncle said that failure here is unacceptable. Shizai must become the most valuable participant in the tournament and the academy representative. Given his strength and eternal flame, he could definitely become the strongest rising star in the country. Mr. Fan added that it was also about that ungrateful girl and her acquaintance Xing-kun. He will deal with them. Shizai doesn't have to bother with pleasing them anymore. The Fan family will find a way to nail these two. After that, they will extract their super genes from the youngsters and do a couple of experiments. The young man was told that their ward was somewhere out there, 300 meters underground. However, as the young master of the Fang family, he can't get it right now. Even if the rules of the second stage of the tournament were created especially for him, he can't show it to the rest of the world. He'll have to pretend he's just like everyone else, looking for all sorts of clues. After all, it's not just the presenters who are watching all the participants. There are cameras all over this forest. Fan Shizai activated the scarlet flame, spreading. The range is 30 meters. Shizai thought that not many people from the other world could do this. A few more times to do this, and then you might stumble upon a reward. Fan Shizai noticed that Xing-kun was moving through the forest alone. Shizai didn't think that anyone could come here. This guy was just lucky. Fan thought that it was impossible since Xing-kun couldn't know the exact location of the reward. However, our hero behaved completely differently. Shizai noticed that Xing-kun ran exactly in the direction of the reward. Could it really be a coincidence? Shizai thought that this Xing-kun was trying to ruin his plans again. Fan thought that there was no way this rascal would change his fate just by luck. Fan thought that the reward was guarded by guards, and one of them was his man. He was the one who transmitted the coordinates of the hidden bounty. What no one knows is that this is a secret superhuman who has reached the 4 stars. Not only can he silently transmit messages, but he can also deactivate Xing-kun completely unnoticed. There was no way this man would let Xing-kun get to the reward. Fan Shizai assumed that the promised reward definitely belonged to him, a descendant of the great family. Xing-kun was glad that the scent of superhumans was different from everything else. In his eyes, the disciples in this forest were like little fireflies, and the liquidators were like burning light bulbs. In his past life, our hero had closely followed the Supernovas tournament, and knew very well that the award was guarded by 2 of the liquidators. Finding them with an amazing sense of smell is no problem. Too bad you can't eat them. Our hero thought his reward was already in his hands. With the reward, he could easily reach the 3rd star of his super genes. He might even be able to develop his demonic genes to the 4th star. Xingchun lifted the cover of the hideout and said, "Here comes the winner." Lin Shi, hiding in the cover, said that he knew this guy would appear here. After all, he had the blue flame in front of him. Lin Shi said for the metal to appear. Xingchun told the liquidator that he had warned that he had mislabeled himself. Lin Shi was worried. Where was young Master Fan? Fan was surprised. Did the liquidator really call this freshman Blue Flame? Lin Shi told our hero that he would have to go through another test to get the reward. The liquidator wanted to tear the mask off the Blue Flame. Lin Shi, just like last time, attacked our hero with metal arrows. Xingchun hid in cover and thanked his mentor brother for missing out. Lin Shi thought that this guy could sense his presence. Thanks to that, he could anticipate his actions. Definitely, he is the Blue Flame. However, there was nothing he could do about it. Fan saw Xingchun walk inside. But what could link him to this liquidator? Fan Shizai gave a mental command to his man to stop the freshman. The liquidator thought that all the superhumans had already left the academy grounds due to the general yellow alert level. So he was the strongest person on the academy grounds at the moment. Detaining this guy until Mr. Fan picks up the reward is feasible. The liquidator thought this guy must be shaking with fear right now. Xingchun was completely indifferent and thanked the liquidator for letting him pass without a fight. The liquidator wondered, why didn't this guy stop? But you can't miss it. Winning the supernova means a lot to young Mr. Fang. You can't let him down. Lin Shi might notice his interference, but it doesn't matter. If he overdoes it, he might destroy this kid's mind. The liquidator activated the mind subversion. However, the liquidator couldn't understand what was going on. Why is this freshman's mind so strong and powerful? Xingchun felt the liquidator fall to his knees. The liquidator tried to attack our hero mentally, but received the same in return. Our hero has come close to the coveted award. He certainly earned it. Xingchun picked up the orb and thought that this was the artificial evolution device. It was lucky that the academy had decided to be so generous. Xingchun sensed the aura of the underground monster. It doesn't look like some weak creature. Xingchun thought that he couldn't save the world alone, and he wasn't hired as a selfless hero either. The young man decided to use the reward for its intended purpose. He suspected that his quiet and peaceful life would soon come to an end. An invisible monster had infiltrated Manhwa Academy, the haven of the strongest superhumans of the younger generation. Sung Yin heard 3 invisible monsters digging a path here. This tunnel leads to Manhwa Academy. They had originally assumed that all 4 monsters were trapped in this tunnel, so all the combat-ready superhumans of the academy were mobilized here. It happens during the Supernova tournament. There are also a lot of academy students there. At this moment, the academy is unable to protect its students. If those 3 monsters infiltrate there, all the students will be victimized. Sung Yin thought, if his assumption is correct, then the situation is simply dire. Mankind has underestimated the intelligence of monsters. Sun Yin said that it was a trap. The 3 remaining monsters headed towards the academy. The tournament participants are in danger. The superhumans must be sent there. The leader said that the captain is greatly overestimating the monsters, or he is scared and wants to run away. Sun Yin said that he heard their footsteps. The commander said that monsters are just the product of unfortunate combinations of human genetic mutations. Monsters of the 4th order are not different in their intelligence from ordinary beasts. He had participated in the elimination of a 5th order monster, and that one was incomparably stupider than the most unintelligent of humans. The leader headed deep into the tunnel and said that right now they needed as many fighters as possible right here to destroy all the monsters that had gathered. The man added that this monster is their priority at the moment. The guards were curious about what was going on in the tunnel now. They, too, wanted to see the wave of monsters they were talking about. The colleagues said it was time to do their job. They are here to ensure that the monsters that fought off the wave don't get inside the supernova arena. The liquidator said he has been on the job for 5 years, but has only seen the actual monster wave on video. However, all the liquidators were attacked by an invisible monster. A colleague wondered what was going on in the 3rd tower. What about those liquidators? The commander relayed a command to all liquidators that there was an unknown incursion in the south, but no attacker in sight yet. This team of liquidators was also destroyed by an invisible monster. The presenter said that the 2nd stage of the supernova went somehow too fast. Only 5 minutes after the start of the stage, the captain of the Doomsday Starlight team found the reward. The presenter had a bird's-eye view of how the tower with the liquidators was destroyed. The girl said that the intruder is a blue flame. However, there is no enemy in sight. Isn't it the same invisible monster that the strongest liquidators are fighting now? The presenter activated the Whisper of Wind. She felt the movement of the students and a strange fluctuation of energy. The students were frightened. Something invisible was approaching them. It was indeed an invisible monster, and it attacked stealthily. Judging from the information given earlier, there were 3 monsters, and all of them were of the 4th order. However, the liquidators should have been able to deal with them. How did these monsters end up in the academy grounds? The Flying Rabbit announced that the Supernova tournament has come to an emergency end. The order came: all students to leave the forest immediately and return to the academy building. All liquidators must immediately head to the southern part of the forest. The invisible monsters that invaded the academy cannot be allowed to escape. Lucky Rabbit, said Director Ching, to block the forest immediately. For almost the entire forest was dotted with the director's energy. The secretary said that if the director blocked the forest, none of the remaining liquidators would survive. The secretary added that the Flying Rabbit is too young and inexperienced to blindly trust her predictions and words. The director stated that she had made the right decision. The director immediately went to the forest to help the liquidators. Elder Ching said that he thought of saving the lives of ordinary people first. After all, they, the liquidators, had sworn to protect them. If the invisible monsters are allowed to slip out of the forest, not only the students of the academy, but also the ordinary citizens of the city outside Manhwa will be in danger. Director Ching activated the tree net. The students thought it was as if the trees in the arena had come to life. All the students were knocked down and found themselves protected by a tree net. With the help of these branches, the students were transported to the academy building. Ji-yu was indignant as to why Xing-kun was so close to her. The guy replied that it was his branches that had been abandoned. Sang-kun wondered why the principal had started throwing people around so much. Our hero didn't expect it to be so serious. Sing-kun wondered why he couldn't tell from the scent how many liquidators were left in the forest. Could it be because of the low level? It was rumored that all the strongest liquidators of the academy had gone to the tunnel in the mountains, but apparently the monsters from there had reached the academy as well. Sing-chun realized that the yellow alert was a deceptive maneuver. Humans had greatly underestimated the intelligence of monsters from the beginning. Our hero decided that he needed to get there too. The captain of the losing team was angry. Why did the principal throw him out of the forest? After all, he is not useless and can help as much as he can. The young man started pounding on the wood and saying that he too is a future liquidator, ready to fight the monsters. He can't sit on the sidelines when it's happening right in front of his nose. One of the students said she could help, because she's studying the same tree network star chart as the principal. She's sure she can make a gap. The girl was able to push the trees apart, and the squad leader said that he would go alone, as the others were not strong enough for that yet. The girl said that if the commander didn't take her with him, she would close the gap immediately. The other students wanted to get in as well. The women's team came up and said they wanted to get in through that gap too. Would Chusha be okay with that? The captain of the women's team told Chusha not to resist or he might regret it a lot. Monsters can only be defeated together. Another team came up and told Chusha to take them along too. Other students who wanted to clean up the forest were also willing to join in. Chusha said that he didn't expect all of his opponents to gather here. In that case, they should join forces. Sangshin thought that he would also go there, but only after he broke through to the 3rd star using the artificial evolution device. Sang-gun told his team not to ask too many questions. They are going back. Now is not the time to pry. Young Mr. Fang was called out by one of the liquidators peeking out from around the corner. Fan inquired, "Shouldn't this guy be in the forest?" The liquidator replied that the young master's safety was more important to him than his duties as a liquidator. Those monsters in the forest are very dangerous. The remaining liquidators won't last long there. Fan Shuzai grabbed the liquidator by the throat and asked why he let Xing-kun take the reward. The liquidator wondered, what was that flame? Even when he was near it, he felt as if a monster's ferocious gaze was directed at him. Could it be that young Master Fan had mastered the element so quickly and had broken through to the 4-star level? The liquidator made excuses, saying that he had done his best, used all his strength, but it didn't work, and he suffered a recoil. There's something wrong with this Shin Tsung. Fan asked the liquidator who was in the pair if this guy had called Xing-kun Blue Flame. Was it true? Xing-kun told his team that they wouldn't be able to rest properly. He needs them to keep an eye on him and not let anyone go to him. Xing-sun closed himself in the room and thought that time was running out. We need to break through to the 3rd Super Genius Star and the 4th Monster Genius Star as soon as possible. The artificial evolution device is supposed to compensate for the low percentage of super genes in the body. Xing-chun thought that this thing on his arm stopped glowing right after it turned into a bracelet and attached itself to his arm. In order to activate the device, one would need to use the essence of life. It would be more difficult if the bracelet had to be charged with something else. Having drunk the liquid from the vial, our hero decided that now it was necessary to channel the energy of the essence of life into the bracelet with the help of super genes. From the feel of it, it would take 30 vials to recharge the bracelet. Xingchen thought that the problem was that his super genes wouldn't have enough power to break through the monster's genes. It's impossible to just channel energy into the bracelet. So what to do now? Lucky Rabbit thought the arena completely blocked and the signal was broken. The girl thought she couldn't run the broadcast even if she wanted to. That leaves only the video recording. She said on camera that today she was going to face some very scary, invisible monsters. She may not survive the encounter, but she really hopes she can talk to the audience again. Now we need to find out where the monsters are. The girl said she discovered where the monsters were. The next moment, the presenter's smartphone was destroyed by an invisible attack. Under the impact of this attack, the girl flew off and hit a tree. She thought that if she hadn't had time to form an air wall, it could have turned into a chop. Now even a video couldn't be recorded. The director said that 3 invisible monsters had come at once. The one that crashed into the rabbit was a monster that could fly. He added that he had trapped that monster and was holding it back. The others are holding one monster on the ground. We need to help the rabbit finish it off sooner rather than later. The director said he changed his mind. It's better for the rabbit to go in search of the 3rd monster. If she found one, she should try to keep it in one place. Rabbit said she understood everything and would try to locate the monster and apprehend it. The girl added that after this attack, she feels like several ribs were broken. Duck Bunny said she would fight and set out to find her. The girl activated the wind noise. Duck Bunny was knocked off her feet. She couldn't find the monster. Were there really 3 of them? The girl notices that the students have entered the forest area. They have no idea who they are going to face. Bunny shouted for the students to get out of here immediately. Had they really decided to say goodbye to their lives in this way? The girl said they didn't belong here, and they should get out immediately. Rabbit has discovered a 3rd monster. Why did it show up now? Even if her left arm was fine, she wouldn't be able to take out all the students at once. Rabbit decided that all she could do now was try to disrupt the monster's perception. The Whisper of Wind was activated again. Students activated their skills, a vortex and a 3-layer crystal shield. Chusha said that too much noise was raised because of a few monsters, and they came here brimming with 200% motivation. Don't underestimate them. After all, they are future liquidators who must fight monsters. However, the students were attacked and suffered significant damage. None of the students could create a shield stronger than this student's, and this shield was destroyed with a single blow. Chusha was upset. His arm was injured. Bunny said that this monster was beyond the students, and pulled Chusha away to a safe distance. Chusha said it's okay, he has the other arm. Bunny said that the students underestimated the monsters. They are really very dangerous. One of the students said that Sister 2 didn't convince him at all. These monsters are really strong. Even strong liquidators can't be sure to survive after encountering them. Another student added that they are the Academy's best students and could be the liquidators' last hope. The student added that if they all die, these monsters will get to the students as well. Another disciple said to Sister Rabbit to give the order. They would enter the battle without sparing their lives. Bunny said that these students made stupid creatures. Perhaps none of them will survive today. Rabbit added that they can show their tough will either way, so everyone will fight. In the tunnel, the superhumans said that they couldn't keep up with Shangguan. After all, they are even weaker than the monsters. The superhumans warned that if the girl rushed alone, she might die. Shangguan was indeed injured by an invisible monster. The girl said it was a blood dragon. The commander of the liquidators came over and said that the best thing to use against this monster was long-range attacks. Shangguan noticed that the young ones were not afraid. Shangguan said that she believed Sun Yin, and the monsters probably set a trap. If there's even the slightest chance of that, you can't risk the lives of the disciples. They can't retreat until they deal with this thing. Otherwise, the liquidators holding back the wave of monsters outside will suffer. It is necessary to destroy this monster as soon as possible and rush to the academy. Shangguan said that she had infused her last attack with her own blood, so now this monster wouldn't be able to escape their eyes. Shangguan said that they would now be able to identify the weak points of this monster once they saw its structure. Shangguan was finally able to see the monster and wondered, who did this monster come from? The girl noticed that she had memorized all the monsters, but she hadn't met such creatures yet. Although if you look closely, this monster resembles one ancient creature. The liquidator commander wondered, why did this monster look so much like Triceratops? He told Shangguan to take Song Yin with her and hurry to the academy. They'll try to kill that monster without her. The academy needs help. The commander of the liquidators said that if this thing was really a mutated triceratops, then things were really bad for them. It means that all this time, people have been studying the monsters incorrectly, underestimating them greatly. Xingqian continued to consume the essence. He said that he would make the monster genes pay for it. Life essence is nothing more than life energy extracted from organisms. Monsters use roughly the same principle. They devour humans, and then digest their flesh into energy that they use for their own development. Which means that monster genes contain a lot of life energy in them. Xingqian thought that although he couldn't stop the genes from devouring the life essence, there was nothing stopping him from using them instead. Xingqian was determined and had a clear plan of action to achieve his goal. Xingqian said to move the monster's genes into the artificial evolution device now and turn them into the life energy he needed. After the necessary manipulations, our hero concluded that this system worked.
Xingqian noted that the feeling is different from when he first put on this bracelet. But the important thing is that everything works.
If our hero got it right, this thing studies his super genes and then starts to mimic them. In this way, it artificially increases the percentage of super genes in his body, making it easier to cultivate the star card. If everything works out right, he should be able to reach the 3rd star without too much trouble. It's called evolution. Xingqian said that it was now the turn of the monster genes. After reaching the 3rd super gene star, it would be much easier for him to control the monster genes. The evolutionary process has been accelerated and has been very fruitful. Xingqian wanted to digest every bit of energy he received. However, they were still trying to break free from his control. Zhao Shen and the girls continued to wait for their commander. Xingqian continued to say that they were just his monster genes, and he was their master. If they continued to rebel, he would just finish them off. Xingqian remarked that only he determines the ways of their development forms, and will become the kind of monster he wants to be. The students in the forest decided that their hard work had finally paid off. Bunny said that the invisible monster was right in front of them, and it was temporarily restricted from traveling. The students realized that they had only one chance. It is necessary to concentrate all of one's power. The magic sword star card was activated. The apprentice thought that this was the moment he should unleash the strongest blade of his life. However, this disciple was attacked and his arm was also injured. The 10,000 swords star card was activated. However, this student was also attacked and suffered significant injuries. Bunny thought that these guys were only apprentices, but they were willing to sacrifice their lives to finish this thing off. Perhaps their swords would really be able to pierce through this monster's skin and take away its invisibility. In that case, even if they die here, the director will be able to detect the monster. We need to trap it. However, the monster was able to get out unharmed. It seemed impossible. Suddenly, a powerful explosion rang out in the forest. Bunny thought it was over. They had put their lives on the line. However, even that wasn't enough to hurt him. There was no stopping him. The girl felt a terrifying pressure. They couldn't escape from here. Where did this monster even come from? Mankind had never encountered such creatures before. Bunny thought it was ridiculous. Can't humanity get the situation under control? There's always a price to pay for being overconfident. She can feel the elemental wind beginning to consume her life force. She has no way back, but the students behind her still have a chance to get out of here. She can blow herself up. Bunny thought the wind generated by her explosion could carry the students far away from here. The girl decided to give the students a glimmer of hope for survival, even if only one survives. Suddenly, the girl was pulled by someone's hair. The rabbit did not realize what was happening. Was fate itself trying to pull her out of this dark abyss? The girl was angry. Who dared to drag her by the hair? Xingqian told her to calm down. It was too early for her to sacrifice herself. Rabbit asked, "Who is he?" The girl reprimanded. Did he even realize what she was trying to do just now? If they miss this monster, they will all be finished, and innocent people will suffer. Rabbit added that this monster would tear the students to shreds. Xingqian performed a hand manipulation, making it clear that he was ready to engage in battle with this monster. The invisible monster that remained unharmed after all the strongest attacks, capable of taking many lives with a single blow, was stopped by this guy. Rabbit didn't understand what kind of power was this. Even a 4-star human who had turned all his bones into metal wouldn't be able to stop this terrifying monster's attack so easily. The girl didn't understand. Who was this Xingqian really? Our hero activated the blue flame. The flying rabbit wondered. Is he really the blue flame? Xingqian asked. Was she really going to arrest him? The girl was scared. It was really him, the one who had destroyed one of the Fang family's labs and wiped out many employees there. This is a most wanted criminal. Xingqian said, if the rabbit doesn't want him to eat her, she should gather all the students and get them out of here. Xingqian added that they would only get in the way underfoot. Sang-chun turned around and once again repelled the terrifying monster's attack. The rabbit was thrown back to the surviving students. The invisible monster had revealed itself. But what was it anyway? No monster classification had this thing. They were not known for anything at all. But it couldn't use its full power while it was in invisibility mode. It turns out that this monster decided to fight in earnest. Sister 2 said that the students had better back off. They had already done all they could. The students agreed to come out of the woods and get all the wounded out, then regroup and return to help. Bunny didn't know who Blue Flame was, and she didn't need to. She knew he was the man who had saved their lives and decided to face the monster alone. Zhaoshen and the girls continued to wait for our hero at the door. Jiyu said that there was no need to ask unnecessary questions. Xing-kun said that he would be very busy, so there was no need to bother him. Fan Shuzai walked by, who asked what Jiyu was doing in front of Xing-kun's door. He's looking for this guy too. The academy management needed him for some reason. However, today there were witnesses who saw him going to his room with these people. We should tell him that the academy administration had come for him. Jiyu said that Shin-kun is resting right now. What does this guy want here? Fan wondered. How could one rest at a time like this? The academy assumes that he broke the rules of the supernova and found the reward through unfair means. They want to ask some questions in person. Fan said that otherwise the academy would disqualify Shin-kun and demand the return of the reward, the artificial evolution device. Jiyu recognized this guy as the Liquidator and said that he could ask questions when Shin-kun woke up. The Liquidator said that it was better for the student not to resist, as every student of the academy was obliged to obey the will of the leadership. The Liquidator added not to worry the girl. The academy believes in its students and in their honesty. They just need to ask a few questions. The Liquidator asked if he was awake because of the injury he had sustained during the tournament. We should have the academy's healer fix him up. It would be much more effective than just lying in a room and hoping it would go away on its own. Xiao Tao said that she had never seen this person in the leadership of the academy. Who is he anyway? Jiyu stated that if there were indeed any questions regarding the methods, then let the director personally ask them. She, on the other hand, would crush anyone who tried to disturb Shin-kun's sleep. Someone called for help from below. Someone got out of the principal's tree net. Among them were many injured students, those who had recently entered it. One of the students said that a blue flame had shown up in the forest. That wanted criminal. But how did he even get there? Fan said that the director is currently trying to protect them at the risk of his life. He should not be distracted. The students of the academy should try to help the leadership. Fan added that Jiyu, on the contrary, is in the way. It looks strange. Jiyu involuntarily started to concentrate electricity around her and asked, "What business was it of Shizai's?" Shizai was not scared and said that he would have to call Shin-kun himself. Shizai said to Jiyu not to blame him for potentially hurting her. Flying Rabbit thought, who is this blue flame? The criminal who robbed the Fang family's lab and the one who dragged her by the hair. But why did he come here? After all, he probably knows that the liquidators will start hunting for him. It doesn't make sense. Even so, this man saved her and the other students' lives. She can't just run away. The girl thought of helping this guy at least a few times to weaken the monster's flames and open a gap in its defense. Rabbit activated the Wind Dragon star card. Sang-chun was able to repel the monster's flames and damaged its head. It turns out that Xing-sun is a superhuman who has reached the peak of the 4th star. He emits the same flame as the monster, and his left arm is covered in a layer of some kind of black armor. How could a fire elemental create such armor? He fights very differently from other superhumans. It felt like two monsters collided in battle. He was able to tear apart the monster's body with one force. Sang-chun asked why the rabbit was still here. If she gets in the way, he will use her as bait. Bunny said that now the monster is visible. She doesn't need to protect the students. She'll be able to take care of her own life, and this guy won't get in the way. The girl thought that Shin-kun was an emotionless chump. Don't underestimate her. She might be able to help him. Bunny activated the wind current again. The girl suggested going higher. The monster couldn't fly, so they had an advantage. Sang-kyun said that she had pretty good control of the wind element, but he couldn't remember anything about her past life. Did she really die so early? Sing-chun said to the rabbit to use his wind and direct it directly into the monster's mouth. The girl said she would honor his request, but he could die. Using the resulting acceleration, our hero approached the monster's mouth. The young man said she did quite well. The power of the underground dragon concentrated in the bones and claws of his left hand. The evolution had gone in the right direction. He could now control his body changes and fight without a full transformation. The girl was surprised. This guy really did punch a hole in the monster's head with his strange armor. He has a very strange way of fighting. What kind of star card is he cultivating? The monster was seriously injured but continued to resist. Lin Chi, his commander who was next to the monster, couldn't understand what was happening. The pressure they felt could only come from a fourth-order monster. All three invisible monsters went into a frenzy at the same time. Xingchun thought that this was not a normal pressure from a fourth-order monster. It seemed to have started emitting an overlord aura. These monsters contain the power of the Lord of Monsters. Bunny felt her head splitting as if she had been hit with a hammer. But this is no ordinary headache. It felt like this monster was destroying her from the inside out. Her super genes damaged too. Bunny was falling down and thought she couldn't use her superpowers. She needed to regain control of her super genes. Falling, the rabbit flew past the eye of the huge monster. The girl figured she wouldn't make it, but needed to at least trade her life for that eye. The girl thought rabbits were too cute to eat. If he tried to eat her, she would blow herself up and tear his face off. The rabbit activated the wind blast. The girl was disappointed. She had never been able to regain control of her power. She won't even be able to scratch this impenetrable creature. Amidst the rubble, a young man tried to lift a concrete block to help the girl get her trapped leg out. The monster was getting close, but the young man said he wouldn't leave the girl alone. Suddenly, a man appeared and attacked the monster, screaming at him not to dare touch his children. Rabbit remembered her father and thought that it must be her turn to be eaten by the monster. It seemed that she would soon meet her daddy, whom she missed very much. Xingqian attacked the monster again to prevent it from eating the rabbit. Our hero stuck his left hand into the monster's mouth. With his other hand, he grabbed the falling girl's leg. Xingqian said, "This monster can't bite his hand, his teeth will break." Sangun tossed the girl aside and said that she made a nice juicy bait. The girl landed on the ground, and once in a safe place, said the guy was rude. He called her bait and then shooed her away like a rag doll. Xingqian activated the attacking tentacle mode, and then shifted into devouring form. Xingqian said. His devouring tentacle now rested all along the monster's ever-hungry esophagus. Our hero added that the monster has a pretty tough hide. However, its tentacles will be stronger. The girl saw Xingqian continue to massacre this monster, destroying it from within. Bunny told Blue Flame to be more careful as the monster decided to attack again. Xingqian said that the monster would no longer be able to escape. It must learn to chew its food before swallowing it. The monster tried to attack blindly with its black spikes. Bunny wondered what this guy had done to the monster. Had he really blasted his blue flame right inside that monster? That was amazing. After the monster was torn from the inside, our hero said, "Dinner is served." Xingqian thanked for the opportunity to snack a part of the royalty. The guy noticed that the monster's tentacles had broken off. Did he really decide to sacrifice his tentacle and escape? If you want to finish the monster and eat it, you'll have to go through a transformation to use all available power. Xingqian asked the girl why she came here again. The rabbit replied that she wanted to help him. Xingqian declared that she was stubborn and started pushing her aside. The girl remembered how her father used to push her away and tell her to be obedient and run away. Rabbit said to make sure Xingqian survived. Our hero looked at the girl once more, and she said she was just leaving. Xingqian said that if the disciples decided to return, she should stop them and kick them out of the forest. Leaving the scene of the battle, Bunny replied that she knew everything herself. The girl closed her eyes and thought she felt very embarrassed. Bunny thought she had fallen in love. The liquidator told young Mr. Fan that it was necessary to get out of here as soon as possible. The principal's tree net won't last long. If those invisible monsters broke through here, no one in the academy would survive. Fan said that they have nowhere to hurry. First, he wants to help his uncle find out Xingkun's true identity. Things will become much easier if Xingkun really turns out to be a blue flame. The Fang family needs information about the super genes that can control the blue flame. Fan Shizai said that Jiyu was really talented, but she had only recently awakened her super genes. Fan added that he knew she had used up most of her energy during the tournament. Even with such talent, she wouldn't be able to recover it in such a short period of time. Lack of energy is her main weakness at the moment. There's no need to put such a strain on her fragile body. Zhao Shen stood up for the girl and said that it was clear to them from the beginning that Shizai was pretending. Jiyu doesn't like him, so it would be better if he left here. Fan applied a hand of flame and said that a man shouldn't be so imposing. It doesn't make him look good in the slightest. Shizai added that he didn't let this guy talk to him. Zhao Shen and Xiao Tao were attacked by the flame hand and flew back. Jiyu activated the absorption of Scarlet Flame. Fan said that he knew that the girl could absorb the energy of the lightning element directly from the air. It had even caused a massive power outage in the center of the city once, but right now, the air was only saturated with his flame element. If you compare it to air, GU is like a drowning person who is desperately trying to inhale. Shizai stated that in other words, the girl was powerless at this moment. GU headed towards her opponent and said that it wouldn't stop her. Fan walked to the door of Shinkun's room and said that he was advising GU to stop resisting. He never had any plans to harm her. If she stayed near his hand of flame for a long time, she might get burns. Fan noticed that right now, the girl was unable to absorb the energy of the lightning element, so there was no need to even try to dispel his hand flame. Fan grabbed the doorknob and was immediately hit in the arm by the electric charge that GU sent. Fan yanked his hand and asked in surprise, "How is this possible? How was her lightning able to pierce through his scarlet flame?" Shizai asked GU how she was able to absorb the energy of the lightning element. GU stated that a drowning person also sometimes comes out of the water. In fact, she only needs to fumble with the lightning element.
The girl added that after that, the energy itself begins to pull at her body.
Operators at the Liquidator's headquarters noticed that the power consumption at Nanyu Academy had jumped, causing a power outage in the city. The young man remembered his uncle telling him that he had to pass the threshold of 90% super genes. GU applied the magnetar and activated it. The higher the percentage of super genes, the higher one's affinity with the elements. No matter how powerful a superhuman is, in the face of those who have crossed that threshold, he is nothing more than a defective product. Fan Shizai tried his best not to be considered a defective product. Scarlet flames and electrical charges continued the confrontation. GU thought that she had expended a huge amount of energy in just a moment, and it was necessary to come up with some less wasteful techniques. One could use this flame hand as a basis. Fan thought that the girl's magnetar was the brainchild of a foreign researcher, and she had so easily taken to changing it and precisely controlling the process. It turns out that either GU has already managed to study more than 50% of this star map, or she just has an unimaginable affinity with the lightning element. Plus, she's doing this in the midst of battle. Shizai was surprised. In her eyes, is he really not a threat? He had been treated as a genius since childhood, but this girl sees him as some harmless boy. Director Fan told his nephew that according to his research, if they were able to incorporate the eternal flame information into the supergenes, there was a high probability that the percentage of supergenes in the young man's body would also increase. The eternal flame resonates with the flower of eternity. The flower communicates through him. However, it is too dangerous right now. When the young man's father is ready, the guy will hand over the improved eternity flower. His father would then be able to break through to the 5th star, allowing him to level the risks of the eternal flame. Shizai thought, if he grasped the blue flame, then Uncle wouldn't have to wait for his father and fear the risks. Then he would be able to reach 90% soon. GU thought that this guy might explode right now. However, the situation was heating up, GU thought. Is this really an earthquake? Tree branches appeared on the academy grounds, engulfed in blue flames. The Liquidator said that the monsters had gone into a frenzy. They would probably break through the tree net soon. Young master needs to leave. They shouldn't stay here because of these students. They will die soon anyway. Flying Rabbit asked where these students were going. Not only would they be in the way, the girl wanted Blue Flame to use caution. The academy principal said that they wouldn't be able to hold this monster back. Lin Chi was still trying to deal damage to the monster. The director said that those invisible monsters had merged with each other. That monster had clearly become even stronger. It may be necessary to summon all the strongest superhumans of this world to fight this monster. It is a monster of the 5th order. Lin Chi had come dangerously close to this huge fused monster. The headmaster told the young man that they had received orders to retreat. Lin Chi decided to use the properties of the metal. Lin Chi said that it was too late to try to escape. This monster would definitely not let him go. Lin Chi stated that he would sacrifice his life to buy some time. However, Xing Kun, who appeared next to him, said that this guy was taking too much on himself. Lin Chi was attacked by the monster's invisible attack and flew far back. The commander asked the bleeding Lin Chi who this guy was. The young man replied that he was a blue flame. The commander wondered, is this really the criminal they are looking for? And is this guy trying to save them? Sainkun was surprised to see where all the monsters had gone. It turned out that they had gathered in one place to merge together. Xing Sun thought that this monster was trying to transform into a 5th order monster. However, it required a huge amount of food to fully transform, and he was sure that this guy hadn't had time to eat that many people yet. This only means one thing. These 3 monsters have started to absorb their overlord aura that our hero came here for. The earth cage was activated and the monster was trapped. The commander of the liquidation squad told Blue Flame that even he was no match for this monster. This monster is on a completely different level. For him, the earth cage is no stronger than cardboard. When the liquidators arrived, they said that Lin Chi had read comic books and decided to show off and sacrifice his life. Xing Tsun helped the guy to recover and threw him out of the danger zone. A bloodthirsty person wouldn't go into the burning furnace to save someone. It was necessary for everyone to leave this place together. In the face of disaster, all people should unite.
Xing Chun told the liquidator that these psychological techniques wouldn't work on him.
The liquidator noticed that Director Qing's tree net was able to stop the monster. The director was in the process of reviving the dead tree. The principal has caught this monster. However, no matter how strong the principal is, he will not last long in the monster's net. The principal said that he knows that Shangguan Kui is already here. She must not delay. The girl jumped over the monster and told the principal not to worry. She was just waiting for the right opportunities. Shangguan applied the water dragon and sickle. The liquidator said that it was incredible. They were finally able to injure him in some way. Director Qing said that Shangguan had become even stronger. Plus, with them having the blue flame, perhaps he would be able to defeat the monster. The director said for everyone to get ready for battle. Shangguan and Blue Flame will be the main strike force. They don't know the full capabilities of the enemy, so they need to be cautious and ready for surprise attacks. Everyone else has to clear the way for the strike team. We'll have to act on the situation. Everyone, according to the roles painted out, moved forward, Director Qing leading the process. Xing-kun took the girl by the shoulder and said, apparently everyone was used to commanding others due to their high position. Even he was enlisted in their strike team. Shangguan wondered, how did this guy's arm have so much strength in it? She couldn't even move. Xing-kun said that at this moment, there was no way these people would be able to handle a monster possessing a portion of the Overlord's power. One roar would be enough for him to take away everyone's control over his super strength. Therefore, it would be best for everyone to stand aside. Xing-kun added that they would just be in his way. Our hero remarked that he hadn't planned to show off his power today. But if you think carefully, even such a small thing could help him prevent the end of the world.
Xing-kun thought, no matter how strong he became, he wouldn't be able to do it alone. That meant that he needed to make the others become stronger as well. Xing-kun said that today, he would give those present a taste of the true power of monsters, the power of a fourth-order monster, a complete release.
The people present were frightened by this terrifying aura. Shangguan couldn't believe that this guy could be stronger than a monster. He definitely has a flame element. Director Qing said that this guy fights exactly like a monster. The monster said this man is a traitor. He shouldn't exist. Xing-chun replied to the monster that it wasn't for him to decide, and applied the flame of the Overlord. Applying his strength in attacking the monster, Xing-kun said that it would be called Skullbox Explosion. Those observing noticed that this guy's hand had pierced through the monster's sturdy skull, and the blue flames embraced almost the entire surface of its head. However, the monster's wound should be much larger in scale. Did something really go wrong? Everyone noticed that this monster regenerates too fast, just like an underground dragon. This thing's skin is much tougher than that of an underground dragon. Xing-chun continued to attack with blue flames, but the monster continued to regenerate intensely. Xing-chun said that this monster had a very tough hide, incredible strength, and super regeneration. As long as the Overlord has energy, he can level almost any damage with his regeneration. Director Qing said that there were a huge number of monsters as strong as this one in the world, and there were many more than one could imagine. Shangguan said that now was not the time to talk about it. We should join hands and hit the monster all together. Perhaps it would have some effect. Xing-kun replied that there was no need for that. He was going to show how such creatures should be destroyed. In order to protect this world, those present will have to become much stronger than they are now. Guy added that those in attendance need to understand what the area is. The power of flame that lurks in his monster genes. The power he had acquired in his past life. Now he will show the strongest technique he has mastered as a monster lord. A fiery prison that consumes people. Those in attendance thought this guy's domain encompassed them all at once. Lin Chi asked, "Did everyone feel it?" Lin Chi said, his element of iron hovering in the air was completely absorbed. Director Qing noticed that it wasn't just the iron element. His realm had absorbed absolutely all the elements. The only element left in the atmosphere is the fire element, and that is entirely under the control of this man. He controls all the elements within his field. If you try to release the energy of the elements stored inside the bodies, they will be instantly absorbed by his field. The liquidator said that means this guy is practically invincible in his field. My instincts tell me to get out of here. Shangguan said, "There's no need to make things up. None of them should run away from here. From the moment this area engulfed them, they were in a jaws that there was no getting out of." Kun, using this area, attacked the monster with renewed vigor. The Liquidator commander noticed that the monster was trying to escape from Kun, but it couldn't seem to leave this area. Everyone present noticed that the edges of the area began to resemble teeth. The monster even took damage when it got close to the edge. The people saw the teeth of the area sink into the monster. The Liquidator realized that once in the area, it was impossible to get out of it. The area was gradually shrinking. The flames were only getting hotter. The Liquidator thought, what did the blue flame call his domain? One could call it Flame Maw Devouring Monsters. Director Ching remarked that what they were witnessing was a great opportunity they could never have dreamed of. The area of blue flame is indeed a powerful weapon. It locks the enemy in a field completely subservient to its will and begins to slowly devour them. Even the incredible regeneration of this creature is unable to resist such a thing. The director thought he had seen something similar. 20 years ago, in the last moment of the battle with the first Fifth Order monster, the monster managed to destroy 5 of the strongest superhumans of that time at once. The director was too far away from the epicenter of the battle to see everything in detail. However, the man remembered that sight very well. The Fifth Order monster's field was almost the same as Blue Flame's. The similarities were obvious. The monster reeked of the exact same aura of power and dominance. Xingchen thought that he might go crazy from hunger right now. His monster genes weren't strong enough yet. The flame prison region almost absorbed all of his energy. Our hero thought he had to put something in the furnace to survive, and these people have to be protected. Xingchen thought that this monster would definitely become his dinner. The monster said that it was impossible since this person had barely reached the Fourth Order. How could he use a realm that was only under the control of the Fifth Order? Xingchen said sure enough. The monster began to guess. The monster wondered, was this really the power given by the Overlord? Xingchen said that the monster wouldn't be able to take her away from him. He added that he was going to eat that monster whole. An incendiary bite was activated. Those present were amazed at what was happening. A pillar of blue flame extending to the heavens was visible from all parts of the city. The students realized that this was the action of the blue flame. Fan Shazai, while outside the city, also saw this blue flame and thought that the possessor had a terrifying aura. If he was on the academy grounds now and felt the power of this flame, perhaps he could advance in mastering his own eternal flame. Probably most of the academy's students had already died. The damage caused by the monster would be enormous. Now Nanyu Academy will have to rely entirely on the vice principal to recover. Our hero thought he almost died of starvation. This monster was able to feed him in time. It's going to take a while to fully digest it, so we need to get out of here. Suddenly, a subterranean dragon appeared from underground. Xingchen thought that this underground dragon could sense him when he used the area. Xingchen said that he had had enough. Why did the underground dragon come here? Or does the underground dragon want to make him spit his little brother out? Shangguan decided to attack the underground dragon and activated the water dragon sickle. The girl acted energetic and shouted that she would destroy this monster. Director Ching activated the tree net again and erected a huge wall. The commander of the elimination squad has activated the iron element. Even though they had only reached 3 stars, they had no intention of sitting on the sidelines. Lin Chi said that he would soon become stronger and activated the star ignition. Xingchen thought that everyone present had become his personal bodyguards. This meant that he had made quite a bit of progress after being transported to the past. Our hero thought he'd done his best. He showed these people the way to power, and further everything will depend only on themselves. Xingchen fought off the unexpected attack and wondered, did the underground dragon really decide to attack stealthily? This was probably the work of an invisible monster that would not die. Xingchen said that this monster's small teeth wouldn't do anything to him. Xingchen thought that the monster wasn't trying to harm him. He wanted to connect him to the monster network. The protagonist couldn't let that happen. The monster was trying to draw the power of the Overlord out of him. The guy said what went into his stomach wouldn't come out. The monster said that the power of the Overlord could not be mastered by any human. If the man gives, he will allow him to return to the arms of the Overlord. Xingchen said that the monster had lost the power that the Overlord had given him and was now trying to steal it. Xingchen knew who was in front of him. It was one of the 5 demon gods under the Overlord, the demonic flame god. The monster said it was impossible. How did the man know that? Xingchen thought that in his past life, he was one of his 4 lords. Had he really decided to rob his former employee? The guy said that right now, he was digesting the power of the Overlord. Xingchen added, let this monster just try to take her away. The monster said that if he refused to return to the Overlord's embrace, he would personally finish this guy off. He knows about the monster web, right? It can easily destroy a fragile human soul. Xingqian said, in case Monster didn't notice, he has 2 souls. The network of monsters began to interrupt. Xingqian thought that by absorbing the power of the Overlord, he had turned into a whole new kind of monster. The guy thought that he looked like a newborn uterus in ants. The demonic god of flame no longer had power over him. Shangguan wondered, did the underground dragon escape? Where is the blue flame? The principal thought that although Xing Kun was considered a wanted criminal, but this time he had single-handedly averted a disaster and saved them along with the academy. The liquidator commander asked if it was true that there were many such monsters. The director replied that it was not important. What was important was what they had seen today and what Blue Flame had told them. They should tell the whole world about it. Xingqian thought that a new ant queen was born in the colonies after the previous queen died. In this case, things are a little different. The new lord has appeared despite the fact that the current lord is still alive. Our hero has become someone who can start his own colony, a new clan of monsters. Although the monster genes in the young man were not particularly enhanced, but the whole picture was turned upside down. Xing Kun thought that he could even create monsters that would obey him. It would be his own army of monsters. Xing Kun walked out of the room that was guarded by his team members. Zhaoshan stated that he had some important information. He and his sister had some strange feeling. The guy added that it was as if something inside them had come alive, as if it had awakened from sleep. Xing Kun said that there was no need to worry. The seeds of a calm and peaceful future have begun to awaken. Or another seed has awakened that will bring this world back to the depths of despair. Fan Shizai told his uncle that he had dishonored the family by failing to take first place at the supernova. The guy added that he should have finished this Xing Kun off earlier. Mr. Fan said no regrets. How could they have predicted that this young man would be able to withstand the mental attack of a 4-star superhuman? Such a thing is beyond the power of an ordinary academy freshman. Besides, they know that Xing Kun is a blue flame. Fang asked, what was the blue flame capable of? After all, these were the liquidators who had come into contact with him during the previous incident. The young man replied, as far as the strength of his body was concerned, it didn't show anything special. They couldn't see it, so they don't know if it was Xing Kun or not. But the blue flames were incredibly strong, destructive flames. His field is a field that burns everything inside. The young man thought that he shouldn't say anything more since his words might be taken as mocking Shizai's cowardice. Blue Flame is definitely on another level. He also has a strange aura. The liquidator added that the blue flame could turn out to be some freshman. It's fiction. After all, they don't know about all of his abilities. He may have found some way to hide himself and his aura. Mr. Fan said he had some new information. Everyone should get ready. He's just been informed that the blue flame's trail has been picked up. These two will be on the task force. The uncle told his nephew not to think about the blue flame yet. He should concentrate on the flower of eternity. It is necessary to cross out as much of the eternal flame as possible. After that, they should have no trouble regaining control, which had been shaken after the incident within the walls of the academy. Fan Shizai said that he would do his best. He must achieve his father's breakthrough as soon as possible. Shizai wants his father to seize the same power that the blue flame has. The flower of eternity not only accelerates the perfection of superhumans, but also has the ability to turn into a terrible monster. It can grant eternal flame, or it can burn in the blink of an eye. Shizai touched the plant. The gap he pried open last time had closed again. Now he couldn't extract the eternal flame. The young man was angry. This is at the moment when his father needs that flame. The young man heard himself being asked, did he really want his flame? Shizai was surprised. Did the flower of eternity speak to him? The flower said that if a guy needed his flame, he should bring them to him. Bring the carriers of the monster's genes. Ji-Yu, while taking a shower, thought that she seemed to have forgotten to bring her clothes with her. When she looked out of the shower room, she saw Xing Kun sitting on the floor with his back to her. Ji-Yu asked if Xing Kun forgot that it was her room. The guy said that his room in the men's dormitory was bad, so he officially declares that half of her posh room now belongs to him. The young man thought that now, with his current lord power, he can only take one. Ji-Yu said that she forgot to take a change of clothes in the shower. Sang-Kyun said that she could go out and get dressed. Would that be a problem? After all, she often showered in his apartment. Ji-Yu stated that it was 100 years ago. If he doesn't want to leave here, then he should bring her clothes. Sing-Kyun said she can take his shirt for now. Her clothes are in the suitcase. He is too lazy to look for them. Ji-yu thought that he did it on purpose. Ji-yu noticed that this guy doesn't even look in her direction. He's just sitting there mumbling to himself. The girl came closer and asked what Shin-kun was doing right now. Shin-kun asked, would Ji-yu allow his gene to be injected into her? Our hero approached the girl. Ji-yu wondered, what is this guy talking about? Shin-kun repeated that he wanted to inject his gene into her. Ji-yu said that if he continues like this, she will hit him. Sing-gun told the girl not to be stubborn, he wouldn't hurt her. The young man added that she wouldn't even have time to blink an eye, he would do it quickly. Ji-yu repeated that if he didn't stop, she would electrocute him. Shin-kun thought that Ji-yu had a very violent reaction. Maybe she misunderstood him. She almost fried him. Our hero clearly felt that he could give the creature a part of his lord's power and endow it with a share of his abilities. But he knows nothing about the changes that will affect the creature afterward. It is too dangerous to use this power on Ji-yu. Shing-tsun decided that he should catch some mouse and try to transfer the power to it and see if it would turn into a new Godzilla. Sing-chun received a message on his smartphone. Our hero read these messages from Ji-yu and thought that after he was transported to the past, the girl had changed slightly. In his past life, she constantly advised him to find a girlfriend. Sing-kun replied to the girl with a message that he was going to find some small mouse and experiment on it. After entering Gina, the mouse turned into a bloodthirsty monster. But it couldn't withstand the change. Sing-kun regretfully stated that this mouse had died, and it was not surprising. The little mouse couldn't withstand his might. Our hero felt that someone was watching him in the forest, from behind a tree. A shadow appeared from behind a tree and asked, "Is he really a blue flame?"